Good morning, everyone. How are you? From IBMTV, I'm Bill Tresevant, and we have quite the guests here today for Startup Wednesday joining us. Welcome, Nick. How are you? And Kimberly, always a pleasure.
Hello. Same here, Bill. Thank you for taking on our TV show this morning. Running a little bit late, but I think you're wearing lovely red today.
Of course, and you want to tell our audience why we are wearing red?
Well, I'll let you do the honor. I couldn't get my bow tie on. I didn't quite have the shirt to wear with it today, but we're both, trying to bring in some personality here, aren't we?
Yes, but also support a good cause. Let's see if Nick knows what the good cause is. Nick, do you happen to know the good cause for today? Red? Uh-oh, your microphone, Nick.
Unmute.
Okay, I got it. It's Red Suit Day, right?
No, it's not.
It's Better Dead Than Red Day. It's the Communist Party's Taking Over Day.
Support your Republican Day.
Support your Republican Day.
No.
Am I getting closer?
You have all the support you need. You're kind of getting closer, but Kim, do you want to announce?
Okay, so we got a lot of awarenesses going on. Some of them are for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, also for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and wearing red to bring that awareness out. Now, both of these entities have different colors, but I thought red was a very powerful reminder. But domestic violence awareness is generally worn with purple, and breast cancer awareness is generally worn with pink. Both have the red in them, and I just, we're both in this. We're all in this to unite together. And I thank Bill for keeping the code going so that we can do this. But Bill, we've got some interesting news from the White House today.
Yes, some really seismic moves. As if, just think, it was only a week ago that a week and a half ago, his taxes came out. Now taxes, COVID, and then $2.2 trillion. I don't know what's going on, but maybe if we run the report. I was just about out of breath when I did it today.
We will run the report and find out what's going on in D.C.
Let's find out.
From IBMTV, International Broadcast Media, this is your report from Washington. There are 26 days and counting. Trump called an abrupt end to negotiations with Democrats over additional COVID-19 relief. Trump tweeted he asked Senator McConnell to direct all his focus before the election into confirming his U.S. Supreme Court nominee, Amy Coney Barrett. Quote, I've instructed my representatives to stop negotiating until after the election when, immediately after I win, we will pass a major stimulus bill that focuses on hardworking Americans and small businesses. Hours later, Trump took to Twitter again and called on Congress to send him a, quote, standalone bill for stimulus checks. Trump then called on Congress to immediately approve $25 billion for the airlines. And then Trump called on Congress to approve a $135 billion paycheck protection program to help small businesses. Pelosi has generally rejected taking a piecemeal approach to COVID relief. The collapse means that Trump and down-ballot Republicans will face re-election without delivering aid to voters, with millions facing the threat of eviction. Endangered Republican Susan Senator Collins said, quote, waiting until after the election to reach an agreement on the next COVID-19 relief package is a huge mistake, end quote. Biden slammed Trump's move. Quote, make no mistake, if you are out of work, if your business is closed, if your child's school is shut down, if you're seeing layoffs in your community, Donald Trump decided today that none of it matters to him. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell warned that the economic recovery remains fragile without further economic stimulus. Stocks dropped suddenly on Wall Street after Trump ditched the negotiations. The Dow swung instantly from a gain of about 200 points to a loss of 300 points, a 500-point swing. Powell made clear that too little support, quote, would lead to a weak recovery, creating unnecessary hardships for households and businesses. While the stock market has clawed much of its way back after cratering in the early weeks of the crises, unemployment stands at 7.9%, and the nearly 10 million jobs that remain lost since the start of the pandemic exceed the number that the nation shed during the entire 2008 and 2009 Great Recession. Senator McConnell told reporters on Capitol Hill he supported Trump's decision. Next, all eyes are on the vice presidential debate. Vice President Pence and his Democratic challenger, Senator Kamala Harris, are poised to meet for a debate that will offer starkly different visions for a country confronting escalating crises. The face-off in Salt Lake City is the most highly anticipated vice presidential debate in recent memory. For Harris, the debater's highest profile opportunity to vocalize how Biden would stabilize the U.S. economy, especially when it comes to resolving the pandemic and addressing racial injustice. Ultimately, though, the debate is a chance for the voters to decide whether Pence and Harris are in a position to step into the presidency at a moment's notice. It's hardly a theoretical question, as the 74-year-old Trump combats the virus, and Biden, at 77, would become the oldest person to become president if he's elected. While the debate will likely cover a range of topics, the virus will be at the forefront. Pence and Harris will appear on stage exactly 12.25 feet apart, separated by plexiglass barriers. Separately, Biden has raised questions about whether he will participate in his next scheduled debate with Trump, telling reporters on Tuesday, quote, "I think if he still has COVID, then we shouldn't have a debate." In other news, the Food and Drug Administration released guidelines yesterday that make it nearly inconceivable for a COVID vaccine to hit the market before Election Day. The White House's Office of Management and Budget approved the new guidelines after 2 weeks of opposition from the administration. 4 vaccines in the United States are in the final stage of testing. In a sign of the times, and that it's 2020, Tasmanian devils, the carnivorous marsupials whose feisty, frenzied eating habits won the animal's cartoon fame, have returned to mainland Australia for the first time in some 3,000 years. Tasmanian devils, which were once called satanic flesh lovers, went extinct in mainland Australia before the arrival of the Europeans. Finally, the current COVID death toll from Johns Hopkins is over 210,909 American souls lost and 1,050,371 global souls lost, again with no end in sight. That is your report for October 7, 2020 from IBMTV, International Broadcast Media, smart television for a smarter global community. From dictatorships to democracies around the world, good morning, good afternoon, good night. I'm Bill Trezevant.
Wow. What an impactful rundown of what's going on. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but Nick and I attended a meeting
this
in
morning
Malaysia.
and this night. We did, yeah. It was this
Right,
evening
and
in Malaysia,
yeah, this
and
evening,
this morning in the United States.
But it was interesting to see the questions coming from around the world about our presidential debate and what is thought to be the economic impact. But a lot of people are curious about our American debates. I mean, people can look at our historical, go to Google and watch them, but are our debates really always that dramatic? Like we saw the president. And I'm thinking that Mike Pence and Kamala are going to bring a little more dignified presence. What do you think, Bill?
Actually, that's the prescription that both campaigns are relying on. Specifically with regard to Vice President Pence, the Republicans are looking to present the image to the world that the Republicans are stable, which is a far cry from even having to think that. But they want to promote stability and evenness and calm. And that's what Mike Pence will be bringing to the table. On the other side, Senator Harris seeks to bring a defined vision of what a Biden administration would do differently to confront and solve the pandemic, as well as confront the social issues like Black Lives Matter, as well as to deal with the economy in a comprehensive way. It'll be particularly stark given that the president has pulled out of the COVID-19 relief negotiations. And just to put that in perspective for our audience, and that is this, that they were talking originally about a package as high as $2.2 trillion. Now, not only are they taking that off the table, which every single economist agrees that the American economy needs right now in order for it to be stabilized, but Trump is saying he's going to put it off until after November 3rd. Well, let's say that he loses the election on November 3rd. He would be a lame duck president. Let's say that the Senate is lost to the Democrats. The Republicans would be a lame duck Senate. There would be no incentive for the Democrats after November 3rd, if they won both the White House and the Senate, to do any negotiating on any kind of relief package, rather than simply waiting until June 20th when Biden would be sworn in and the new Senate would be sworn in, and then they'd have the House, the Senate, and the White House, and they could pass whatever kind of relief package they wanted to. So it really makes no sense for Trump to take the position that he's taking it off the table now, creating what is essentially October, November, December, January, February. That is 5-month delay while our economy is on life support.
Yeah, well, what I think, of course, is may you live in interesting times, and let's bring in somebody from Canada and Russia who actually has lived in interesting times. Sasha Starr, who also runs Investing with Sasha, which is going to be on later today, which will be very interesting. Sasha, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the markets are going to react to this. We don't know what we're doing, and I guess you're going to be discussing that on Investing with Sasha today, because it's pretty big. I mean, it's a big problem that are a political nightmare. But you've lived through political issues before, living in Russia and now living in Canada. So I guess you've seen both sides of this over the last several years, right?
Absolutely. Well, what's happened yesterday is nothing new, because if you remember about a year ago, Trump tweeted something about his trade deal with China, and market tanked 750 points in a matter of a minute and a half. So whoever participates in today's markets obviously should be well aware of all these moves possible. And so what's happened yesterday is no exception at all. Now, very interesting observation was yesterday I saw Dr. Gupta on CNN, and he mentioned, as we all know, Trump is on a steroid program, which is part of overall treatment in his condition. And these steroids, they are very seriously effective in the treatment, but they also can seriously affect the thinking and analytical abilities of whoever is taking the steroids, and they're producing wild swings between euphoria and depression and so on. And so if you take this in mind, and also the problem with steroids is that you cannot just stop taking them. You have to slowly decrease the dose and so on. So I think in the situation where every word of President of the United States can move markets hundreds of points up and down, and I don't think that he should be even involved in governance until he will be completely cured of it, because essentially what's really happening is that, yesterday also on CNN I saw interview with, I remember Scaramucci. He was in Trump's cabinet. So Scaramucci said that now there is a new type of human beings being developed, and there is a definition of that. So when he was asked what it is, he says, is a new type of human beings by the name COVIDiot. So idiot infected by COVID. It's something new, COVIDiot.
Can I trademark that?
It's a trademark, yeah. Scaramucci got another trademark. Yeah.
Right.
So if that's the case, then obviously, look, we have less than 4 weeks. Now I'm following, as you know, the Bet365. It's a British betting site, and see, unlike all this political analytics what we have here in US, when some people talking that, the Democrats will win by default, or some others say that Republicans are winning hands down every state, or so on. Now these people, unlike all those analysts, they're putting real money on the line. They provide odds, and if they're wrong, they have to pay. Okay, so when they're doing their selection, and also not only who wins the election. Now, as popular vote is concerned, the odds are 1.115 on Democrats, and believe it or not, 5.5 on Republicans.
Mhm.
So the popular vote is hands down now. But now also the overall election is the latest odds are 1.55 for Biden and 2.65 for Trump.
Mhm.
It's very significant difference, very significant. In any sport, it's a hands down favorite and outsider. Okay.
So,
So
Sasha,
go ahead. I wanted to bring up the fact that the stocks drastically dropped yesterday. Bill, you had brought that up as well. What do you think is the impact of that?
The impact of that is, first of all, they are accepting bets. So while people are talking about, and I would suggest all Trump's supporters stop talking, put all your money on the line, register at Bet365, put, I don't know, $50,000 that Trump will win. And now we see the
Now you're talking, baby. Now you're talking.
so
Well,
now you're talking about, okay, you believe that Trump will win? Here is your chance to prove you're right and make money at the same time.
right.
Oh, you may lose some money too, but who cares? If you are for Trump, you are ready to get infected with coronavirus. You're ready to do just anything for your how should I call him? I just read the book, you know that his predecessors, they were a big businessman in Germany, and you know how in Germany the CEO or president of the company, the title, the German title is Geschäftsführer. So if you want to put all your money to support your Geschäftsführer, here is a chance. Just go ahead, put 100,000 or maybe even 500,000. Take a mortgage. It's very good rates now. You can get almost no interest mortgage. Put all your money and you'll walk away a big winner.
We have a guest Führer that is waiting in the background. We'll bring him forward. Sergey has arrived. Sergey, the guest Führer, you can hear us. Great.
I want to bring something up that Sasha brought up about President Trump taking certain medications. And as we all know, there's a lot of disclaimers on a lot of medications. I have to take a lot of medications because of my conditions. And a lot of times those disclaimers say, don't do anything important work-wise, right? Don't be doing, don't take this medication and be working with machinery or making important decisions. And these are just medical disclaimers. Now, I would think that if our leader in office is taking these kind of medications that have these kind of disclaimers, that his own medical physicians would abide by those and put him in a position where he is in full quarantine and not making decisions that could, in the end, cause us all problems. I mean, it's just something. It's on the disclaimers. I know a lot of those medications have it.
Yeah, I guess, Kimberly, Nick, it would be the advisory. Don't drive the economy into a ditch, President Trump, while you're on these medications.
Right. Don't drive. Don't lead while taking these medications, right? Don't drink and drive. Don't
Right.
Don't work under the influence. There you go.
Let's drive over to Sergey and find out who he is, where he's from, what he does.
Welcome.
Welcome, Sergey. Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, what you do.
Yeah. Hello. I'm so happy that Nick. So we are in contact, and now I have the pleasure to present myself. So I'm living and resident in Bulgaria. Bulgaria is a lovely country. It's like on a crossroad between Europe and Asia. It's close to Turkey. So it's like a country with a huge history, more than 1,300 years. We have very good nature, and I really love this place. Something about me, I graduated. I have an executive MBA in Austria, in Vienna, and the last 15 years I'm dealing primarily with data data and data science. I'm one of the founders of Data Science Society. This is the community which we initiated like 5 or 6 years ago, which is a domain. We know data science is a fast developing domain,
Right.
and education is normally 5 to 10 years behind the latest innovation. So building such communities and people sharing such kind of knowledge is very important for innovation. And probably that was the reason the last 5 years I'm dealing with different startups and different projects which I'm working on. And now I'm one of the founders and of the ShopUp. But yeah, ShopUp is in an e-commerce. Yeah, I can tell you more, but yeah.
Yeah. Are you in Sofia, Bulgaria then? Is that where you're in?
Yeah, I'm in Sofia. So yeah, something which I'm really proud of now, that we have a lot of protests, and probably now the topic, one of the most important topic here is our protests rather than COVID.
You guys are protesting things? Did you copy what we do here? Is that what's going on?
No, we are protesting against corruption in our parliament, and we want to make new elections and all this stuff. So
okay, so you're just like the United States then. That's pretty good. Okay, because we protest here all the time. It goes on every day, so you'll be very familiar with that. For some reason, I thought you were in California, but you're coming in really good. So Bulgaria, California, I guess is the same thing. Well, tell us a little bit about ShopUp. What's your startup and what do you do in that?
Yeah, ShopUp is we are focusing on e-commerce side. Something probably from my experience the last 5 or 6 years, I decided to first of all to define a niche where we can have access, really easy access to data, and start making data science. And what we identified that e-commerce and retail are the spots, the sweet spot for us. And about the ShopUp, it's like the main idea behind is that as Amazon, as Alibaba, we want each e-commerce website to be able to use data science advancement in order to be more successful in their communication with their customers. And how we are doing this, we have the first layer is the data. So we have different interfaces where we integrate all of the data. And also we are working with different customers in order to build different data science models. It can be something which is like propensity. It can be something like recommender stuff. It can be everything which is important for the e-commerce website. And we onboard these models which can be used later on from our customers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you work with e-commerce companies right now, or do you set up e-commerce companies? Do you have your own e-commerce company, or do you actually work with e-commerce with ShopUp?
Yeah, in ShopUp we're supporting. It's like we work with e-commerce websites. So what we have very easily, we integrate their data and we start helping them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but isn't e-commerce being dominated by just a couple players like Alibaba and Amazon? Are there other smaller players that are out there, or is it the big companies that are dominating this market, Sergey?
Yeah, we have the dominance. We also know Facebook and Google dominance, but still there are a lot of websites, a lot of business which people are willing to work. So here we are focusing on small and medium businesses, which, I mean, there is enough business for everyone.
Oh, okay. So it's not just going to be the world domination by Amazon and Alibaba then.
Yeah, I know how. I mean, Amazon in the US is huge. Everything is on, or most of it is on Amazon. But here we are talking about different brands which normally can't afford developers or data scientists or some guys for the visualization.
Okay, so how does data science help e-commerce sites? How does it actually help?
Yeah, so there are different tasks. Let's go with that way. We can split for e-commerce. It's very important to have a good visibility about their products from one side, and from the other side, it's about their customers. So here what we are doing about the products, they want to have better visibility about which products, which categories they need to promote. We talk about pricing, promotions, we talk about seasonalities, and all this stuff which are to start making some action to start promoting it on different channels. And from the other side, we talk about their customers base. We all know that they want their customer to grow from new customer up to loyal customer. So all this process, they can believe that this can be done and can be transparent, because now it's like, okay, I'm sending some emails, I'm making some campaigns, but how many of these customers are loyal, how are not? I mean, especially for the smallers, it's a hard one. Normally, there are different softwares, even Google with their Google Analytics, they can't really give you that information. You can't really get that information. You need to use data scientists or different companies like ours who can do this, who can take care.
Okay. How can you help IBM TV? We're in 122 countries, but I can't figure out how many people are watching us because we're in so many different countries and so many different platforms. How can you help the hopeless at IBM TV?
It's a good question. First of all, we can start with the discussion.
Yeah.
How do you help the hopeless?
Yeah. I think that's what he's saying, that you have no hope.
Oh, we have no hope.
I want to point out something on the globe where he is located. This is what's great about what we do at IBM TV and what data science is doing for us is it's uniting us. I mean, look how he's in this little spot right here where the Black Sea is, and here's Turkey, and then here's Bulgaria. But I mean, look how we've connected, right? How we've connected and united. And all we need to do now is take all of this data that is out there in the cyber world, right? If you think about our world being transparent and everything in here is cyber, right? And all of these accesses are cyber data connected, then we could take all of that data and do something with it. And that's what data science is all about, is taking the data and figuring out what you want from it. And Nick, we are hopeless because we got to figure out what we want from it.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how we can help the hopeless. Is the name of the website shopup.com? Would that be it?
No, shopup.me.
Shopup.net?
Me.
Shopup.me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get that posted.
I'm going to start trying to get it up on the internet. The internet knows all, as we all know. Shopup.me. Oh, here it is. I think I found it.
So it's it's shopup.me, Nick?
Yeah, I found it. Now I just got to figure out if I can get it posted on.
Okay.
I can do the magic of what they call share screen, which is
okay. Well, we put it underneath his name. Is that the correct one for you? Shopup.me. Is that it?
Yeah.
Can you type it in the private chat for us, Sergey? If you can type it up. There we go. Shop up.
Yeah. Kimberly, something when you mentioned that we are global, something very interesting, which it's how I perceive the world is going, is around the COVID. We all know that the data is around us, but instead of becoming global, now we are again local, because now we start staying mostly at home. It's so rare to go outside of the city or the town. So what we see that now with the technologies, instead of traveling, we're trying to substitute everything. So probably we are only online on a website, but physically we start being more local.
Oh, is this your website, Sergey?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, yeah, right. It's shopup.me. I think I can actually do that. So it's on the comment.
Shopup.me. If you go in, you can take a look about who they are. We help our customers improve their online businesses by leveraging latest technologies, utilizing artificial intelligence. And again, Sergey couldn't be more right. Our educational system is years behind the curve where we are in development of technology, which is something that I have tried to boost, becoming part of some of the committees at the universities, is how do we turn the education system around? Because you know how it is. It takes years to get them to approve an academic program, right? Okay, we got this approved. Now let's check it off. Now let's start teaching it. You have to prepare it. Well, science that's being developed doesn't wait. Okay, Sergey's dead on. You got to be in it to win it. You got to. It's not something that they can teach you in school. None of this is anything that they can truly teach you in school. You have to teach yourself and get reliable resources to work with, like maybe partner with a company like Sergey and join those resources to learn from each other. Just like we share other ideas on IBMTV, because that's the only way you're going to do this. Lots and lots of information. I would highly recommend, go out, take a look at Sergey's site and see how you can partner with each other globally, right? Because AI is all about partnering. Artificial intelligence is about collecting the data. And
wait, let's look at that platform. Wait, hold. You're moving too fast. Look at this. It's like the periodic table here. What's going on here? Remember, this is smart television, so we know what a periodic table is. Okay, Sergey, what is this? A CDP periodic table? Talk to me. What is it?
It is a customer data periodic scheme. So it's like instead chemicals and so here it is institution. So in order to be successful working with your customers, there are different I need to check. There are different actions which are different color and respective different areas are different colors and particular actions are the letters inside.
I've never seen this before. It's a customer data platform on a periodic table. That's what did you guys develop this over in Bulgaria?
I mean, customer data platform is there is a customer data platform institute. So so it's like a norm. It's like a term which is known for the last 2 or 3 years. And as I really like this periodic table, so I just share it.
Were you a chemistry major or something? Are you a frustrated chemistry major? Is that what happened?
Frustrated.
Like, say, just like the chart,
put a structure.
Well, it's
pretty cool.
Been conveying the message in terms of how you can use the information that you receive, because it's about developing their businesses, isn't it, Sergey? Do I have that right?
Yeah, the way we're using it, we just help to retain your customers and with your brands and be more successful with them. To take really data-driven decisions and all this stuff.
Right. So you're build data science, machine learning. When you store data, rational database for e-commerce site, which is what it's all about. In other words, data-driven. Are you using artificial intelligence? Is it built into your software program?
Me being a data scientist, a practitioner, for me, data science, AI, machine learning, they are the same. I mean, for AI, we use because people for AI is an interaction. So we have such chatbots even for one university where it is so interesting that the people want to chat, but they don't really want to chat with a bot. And something what we did for this university, they want to have a chat with Alice in Wonderland. So they want to ask questions and the replies to be like, there is a list. So we built such kind of chatbot. Like Alisa from there.
Well, how long has your company been around? How long has Shop Up Me been around?
5 years, 4 or 4.
Oh, really?
4 or 5 years. We started with something else, but it was for Wi-Fi analytics. But now the last 3 years, we are primarily focusing giving benefit and value to e-commerce website with the latest AI and data science technologies.
Are you working just in Bulgaria, or are you around the world? We're actually broadcasting in 122 countries right now, so that's the reason I'm asking. Are you just limited to Bulgaria, or do you actually do your work around the world?
I mean, the data in our so we have customers from US, from Canada, from UK, from Romania, which is nearby. So we are global.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that in your intro that you talk about AWS Beanstalk, but what about like the competitor tools like Azure? I think Microsoft has Azure. There's various different ones. Gartner has theirs. I mean, what are you tied to just AWS and Beanstalk, or are you utilizing various other tools?
Yeah, you're touching the point with the tools. I mean, Azure and AWS, they're like for practitioners like me, who knows what they're doing. So here the difference is that we build a platform which everything is pre-built. So the people needs to be a marketer with a good clicking exercise, who is able to click and read the menu and all this stuff. And that's enough. And all the rest, the magic is done by our machine learning models and AI models behind it, and they only see the results.
I have to commend you. You got a nice, wonderful mix of people on your board here of who you are. It's not heavily male dominant. And it looks like that you're definitely diverse, and I commend you on that. I like your belief here. Keeping customer happy, communicating right message, and staying relevant is the essence of achieving results for each online business. And you couldn't be more right in that area. I highly recommend people go out, register, go to shopup.me and get yourself a quote. It can't hurt, right? And who knows what you can learn. Also, one of the things I want to tell people is to, share your information, learn to collaborate with the other companies and unite, because that's how we're going to gain information from AI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they say data is key. Apparently, that's the whole thing. Reason.
Gold.
What?
It's gold. It's not
data is gold.
Data is gold.
Okay, don't tell Sasha about that. Gold he'll invest in. Data, I'm not sure if Sasha will invest in, but he'll invest in gold. But isn't that the whole reason why TikTok, that the Americans want to take over TikTok, is because TikTok is just a data mining center? Because I don't see how you monetize TikTok except they're gathering data. Are we looking at data being the gold of the future? No, where it's getting people's. I mean, I'd love to have the data, their email addresses, what they like, what they don't like, how you access them. Isn't that the gold of the next great gold rush, Sergey, is data?
Yeah, I mean, we all know probably the last 10 or 15 years, all of us are talking about the data is the goal. Now, what I really find out, the next layer is combining all these gold silos. So this is where we come, because having data somewhere left, it's nothing. I mean, you need to start combining it and start asking me good and meaningful questions. And something which we are really good in that is that we can very easily apply latest innovations, latest scientific papers, and we prepare the data for ourselves. So just to, let's call it that way. So it's not only the data, but the structured data.
Oh, it's not just data, it's structured data. In other words, having the data in positions you can actually use it to make decisions.
One of the ways we could use this is do polls with people and find out what policies would be more important to you, and then push those to our leaders for them to focus on the policies that are important to the people. Maybe, you could use this data to help predict who can win the political campaign, or you can use data, artificial intelligence, to collect data to improve your campaign, right? To understand what the people's interests are by doing polls out there, getting back the polls and utilizing the artificial intelligence data hey, you know what, Kamala, you need to speak more about domestic violence because there's going to be more women watching tonight that have had domestic violence. So those kind of things would help. So that's how artificial intelligence is gold.
Yeah.
We all know what happens with the Brexit, what happened with your last post. We all know. And something what we did in Data Science Society is that we work with MIT, with Qatar Institute, Scientific Institute, and a lot of other universities in Europe and in US. And together we organize a hackathon with data. We call it Datathon. And the main task was to identify propaganda. And I was so surprised. There were like 55 type of propaganda. So apart from is that message propagandistic, so is there is it doesn't matter is it true or false. It's more important is there is an emotion which converts you to particular belief.
Yeah.
Something else is that we could be utilizing this data collection to determine the COVID spread. Say the president of the United States got contracted with COVID. How many people in his office can we predict could become contacted with it based on his movements throughout the day, his behaviors and things like that? Because we already know Stephen Miller has tested positive per Bill's report. What do you think, Bill?
Well, actually, I just had an observation that I wanted to ask Susie. I mean, is there a danger with the power of AI and its ability to analyze the data and either influence and or predict human behavior? I mean, are we giving up something in the process? And are any of those concerns part of your business considerations as you're deploying your new tools?
Yeah, it's so funny. This weekend, I have such kind of discussions with a friend of mine. So we all know. I mean, it depends of the intent. So I gave a comparison like the hardware and software. We know with the computers. So it's like normally what drives the innovation. It's our curiosity, but a part of it, it is money. So the money comes. It means that they right purpose most of it. I mean, for influencing, for changing opinion. So there is a positive and negatives. What we find out that after what happened with Brexit, there were a lot of steps to start identifying what is propaganda, what are fake news, and such kind of stuff. So it will be like a hardware and software. And I think that the innovations and the money where the monies are is going on the negative side. This is my feeling. We probably you are not aware of, but founders of OpenAI, so they invented a model which you can write a sentence, complete, and make a fake article. So
really,
yeah, and I think it was 2 years ago. So he was probably not really happy of the research and the steps, or probably there was a conflict with his startups. But at the end, I mean, some of the leaders identify what are the bad and the I mean the good and the bad sides. We also know for atomic energy. I mean, Einstein didn't think about that it will be used for atom bombs. Then
that's
so
right.
We need to be.
So that there is that layer that you guys are at least conscious of when it comes to this. And it sounds, and if I have this correctly, that you are using it to combat fake stories and in a sense to try to help us find our way through the wild, wild west, which is the internet, right? Do I have that right?
About what? About the model which
by separating the fake news articles that are computer created and spreading this truth rather than so that it helps me as a consumer to find what's actually true rather than what's not.
Yeah, I mean, it will be the opposite side to identify fake news, to check is something true or not true, and such kind of stuff. They need to be created. Probably they can be like a plugins. It will be like something which can, with the color red or blue, how it's reliable or not reliable.
Okay, I have a quick question, and that is this, and then I'll hand it over to you, Kimberly. But For your field test, are you using Donald Trump as your test subject for fake news, or do you find him unreliable?
No,
Inquiring minds want to know, Kimberly.
I think we don't need AI to tell us the truth.
that's right. Yeah, I think your human intelligence, a lot of people don't understand, but human intelligence drives AI, right? So HI is the huge portion of how we define AI and what we gain and gather out of it. I think fact checks of some sort, we need reliable sources that put that rubber stamp, like the good seal of housekeeping on the data that is collected, and who does that, right? It's kind of like National Institute of Standards or Science Technology, right? We don't have that because, like Sergey said, this has been open source for many, many years, right? Development of all of this is open source. And when you have open source, and the reason why they did this is you have absolute no control. You have no policing whatsoever of what's real, what isn't, because what they wanted to do was encourage development. They didn't want to discourage it. But when you do that, you also open up to hackers, you open up to crime. Our crime in cyber went up to, what was it, $2.8 billion?
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to go fact check myself because that number keeps going up. But it was definitely beneficial to be in cyber crime because, and this is the way I explained it at the universities, the cyber criminals have more incentive to commit a crime given the return on investment. Okay, I can commit a crime and make in cyber and collect $1 million in just a couple of days, whereas the people who are fighting them are only making $60,000 to $200,000 a year. Our FBI agents, and God, I hope they're making more than that. But you have people who have no incentive whatsoever to capture them. There is no bonuses. Hey, yay, you caught them. We have no enforcements of law. Like, we don't cut off their heads when we do catch them. So there are just, there was more incentive for crime than there was for good. And we need to change that. And some of the things you do by changing that is provide a business platform where people can actually generate money by doing the good things with this. And that means supporting AI projects like what Sergey has, right? So that's what we need to do to overcome that desires and those desires for the criminals. And this was another argument I had with our government is they had these laws like you can't unhack. That's against the law. To unhack, you have to hack. But if you do that, then you broke the law and you could go to jail yourself. And I told him, I said, there is no fairness in war, and we can't define what we do to fight them. We can't put a law and say, no, you can't do that because we got to catch them. Right. And like Sergey said, everything that happens out there in this technology world is far more years in advance by the game players who are in it to win it, not the people who study it. Okay. The people who study it are just writing books. They're not in it to win it. They're just writing books on it. To me, they're history books, and some of them years behind. So Sergey is dead on. It's this is not something that you can truly educate people on. You can get your basic skill sets, but truly you just need to be out there playing in it every day. It's a hard world, but data is gold. Go ahead, Bill.
No, okay. Well, Sergey, given what Kimberly has just taught us all. It raised a question for me because this is an area that I really don't know about, and our audience is wide and sophisticated, so they may know more than me. But I was concerned about the dark web. How does your application have any dark, and meaning the dark web, which is, at least as I understand it, it's like an entirely different part of the internet where people are doing all the things that Kim is talking about. Now, did you envision your application, your organization, your program to go into that world? Because I hear nothing but horror stories about the dark web. What do you tell me, if you can, about that, and where do you guys stay away from it, or what, Sergey?
I mean, I get your point. Dark web is the dark side. I mean, normally, for us, the business, we are looking for normal business. I mean, I want to build something sustainable.
Okay.
So no one will put will make that step against the law, and then because I'm working with customers, I want them to be happy. Also, we are following the latest GDPR regulations, all this stuff. I mean, we normally contacted people if they accepted that they want to be contacted. We track them if they want to be okay. So all of this, I mean, now with all this regulation are mandatory for. I mean, we need to have our protected for whom will possess our data. So I'm totally for that. And this dark web is for it is not in our scope. And,
Okay.
and at all in our
avoid it. But I'm going to tell you what the web is, Bill. Maybe we need to do a class, and maybe Sergi will help me.
Okay.
Pretend like the world, everything in here is the web inside, everything, and it connects. You have no idea what's dark and what isn't. You have to surf and just be safe as you can. Use good practices to protect your computers and your devices. But for the most part, it's open source. Just like Sergi said, they created it open source with no regulations whatsoever, so that it could be developed. And this was something I sat on standard committees for years to say, hey, we need to lock it down just a little bit. But the government and the leaders thought if you did that, then you would hinder the growth. So you're going to have, but think about this. We can't tell, even Sergi can't tell the difference between the dark and the light side. It's all one web. If you ever look at a web of a spider, right, you can't really determine where the spider is going to snare you.
Okay, so, Kim, you know what you just did for me? On top of everything else that's going on in 2020, you just caused me to be concerned about my computer. Sergi?
You should. Go ahead, Sergi.
Yeah, something like, I mean, members of my team, we were working with Mo in Canada, and normally the ones which are not so protected, it can be your, I mean, we know refrigerator, all other stuff. I mean, it can be your router or whatever. And normally for our product, we were supposed to deploy something on the router. On the routers in the mall, so they were around 60. And one of my developers says, Sergey, do you know there is if you want, I can remotely without their confirmation to do everything what I need with their routers. And I was I mean, and everything was open source, and you can very easily enter in every place which you wanted to. I mean, at that time it was like 3 years ago.
Okay.
Wow. So the dark side and the
it's an area. You see, it's one of those things. At least for me, it's an area that intrigues me, but by the same token, nothing ever will come good of it. And so, even standing around the edges because of everything they say is going on. So, in that regard, I'm just happy from time to time to be ignorant. So.
Well, the thing to do is just be facts, right? Know your. I do a course with cybersecurity on the simple basics. In fact, it's so simple, people were laughing at me, but then they started stealing my simple basics because I make it very elementary. Just the simple things because. This is the way I explain it. From the time that we were children, we heard story tale fables about the big bad wolf, right? Breaking into your house, or the big bad wolf and Robin Hood, right? But all of these things teach you what to be prepared, right? Kind of like the 3 little piggies, right? The first one built a house of sticks. What happened? The wolf blew it down. The second one built a house of wood, a little more sturdier, but the wolf still blew it down. The third pig built a house of bricks, but a little bit smarter than everyone else, right? He also realized the wolf could get in. See, these are stories we were told. The wolf could still get in through the chimney. So what did the pig do? He put a pot of hot water to catch the wolf when he came in. All of these fairy tales have prepared us for all kinds of entries and all kinds of evil that are out there. And so all you have to do is just protect yourself for that entry, right? Get yourself a good house, a good solid system, right? Put in place the protectors that catch the people like, and I'm not a big proponent of a lot of the tools that are out there. What I'm a proponent of is backing up, redundancy, right? Have a dual system and a backup. And if you have a backup and you word of advice, because I made this mistake, check and make sure your backup went through, right? Make sure it really is backing up your files. And then when you do that, if you get hacked, the best is that you can recover at the point of the hack. And so just basic, simple practices. There shouldn't be fear. There shouldn't be anything other than a little bit of aggravation when you get bit. And but you can recover, and that's what we need to do.
Okay, no, and Sergey, do you find that many customers arrive, or potential customers arrive, with the same kinds of questions that Kimberly just kind of explained? Because many people, I assume, don't know, which is why you're talking. So there's a bit of a learning curve for them that you have to provide. Am I right about that, or?
Yeah, I mean, you are totally right. It really depends of who am I speaking to, because sometimes if you speak with the marketing, they have particular questions. If you are speaking with the CEO, they need KPIs, some measurement. So if you speak with the HR, they need something, how the people are going, what is happening. So it really depends. I mean, and that's the beauty to be a startup, is that you need to be so flexible to see what is the audience in front of you and assess what is their interest in, to provide as deep details as that person can comprehend and understand.
And did you design your programs to fend off the potential attacks that we've kind of been discussing? That is to say, your security systems, because I assume once you get your client data, that you have to somehow protect it, and other times you're helping them protect their data. So how did your company approach that?
I mean, we are using such kind of known brands like AWS, like Amazon, because normally they are responsible for all the backups, for the protections, for all this stuff. And I mean, this is a kind of release for me, because in that case, and it is released for the customers, because they have like guarantees, certificates, and all this stuff. So using a good data owner, data processor is a right approach.
Okay, that's interesting. And so, how are you guys? Sorry, go ahead, Kimberly.
Go ahead. There's just so much involved. This conversation of all of the things. This is a university in itself. But to have it live all the time, not to go to a university where the courses are planned, but to have a live dialogue, and that's where conferences have come in handy. And I'm sure Sergey probably misses all of the conferences that we would go to, because it was live information that we were feeding it ourselves, on cyber hacking, on, like you were talking about, the dark web, because that's where we learned live what.
Well, let's talk about this dark web. What is this dark web? I hear it thrown out. Oh, he's going to the dark side of the dark web. What the heck is dark web?
Nick,
I get on the web. I don't see it.
No, I know, Nick. Actually, it's you and your 1% friends that are on the dark web. That the rest
I live in the dark web, but I want to know from Sergey, what do you see? What is this dark web all about? Where these dark web people are. Talk to me, Sergey. What's this dark web?
It is like what Kimberly showed us, like the globus, which is the balloon which she showed us. So we have the layer which is outside, but everything what is inside is the dark side. I mean, we only have this what we see, and it is beauty. It is such a lovely, and it is entertaining. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the assistance, Kimberly. Yeah, this is and the air.
Wait a minute.
Mine's
There we go.
Nick's got the expensive one.
I got a globe here too. As a matter of fact, I even found Bulgaria, but way over here. Got across the pond over there, and then all of a sudden you find Bulgaria. There it is, right near that Black Sea, which is not a sea.
Well, Nick,
Because that's part of the dark web. The Black Sea is not a sea; it's a lake, right? Admit it.
It is called sea because there is a Bosphorus, and it is not closed one.
But it's a lake, right?
No, it is a sea. It is called sea.
All
Yeah.
right, so it's the Black Sea. All right. So anyway, you're out of there. But you did your education in Australia, right, mate?
In Austria.
Austria. Oh, you went to Vienna.
Yeah.
Oh, how was that anyway?
Yeah, it was perfect. I mean, to change, it was lovely because we travel. We were in Romania. We were in US. So we travel in Austria.
Where do you learn to speak English so good? Because in Austria and Bulgaria, to my knowledge, that's not like English speaking. How'd you learn English?
I mean, we started as a kid, and then I was working in Experian. So I was a business manager there. So I grew up like I was managing like 5 teams and such kind of stuff. So Experian. So they have
right. Yeah, they grab all my data and then they tell me what my credit is.
Be careful, yeah. The credit
anyway.
is important. Your score.
Yeah, they give me this credit score, but the credit score doesn't accurately reflect all the assets I have sitting in bank accounts. They just say, how do I pay my credit cards or some stuff like that. Right. So I don't get where they get off on that, but they do tend to control the interest rates of when I go out and borrow money. So you're working for them?
Yeah, I work for them. So probably then I realized how passionate am I about the data and what you can do with the data.
Yes,
now
I know why you're an expert on the dark web. You work for the dark side. Experian. I got it. Okay. All right. So now it all makes sense to me. I was trying to figure out this dark web stuff because it sounds really bad. Like I'm going in the internet, then I'm going to deep dive into the internet and find some stuff that's really bad. And then, but you told me some great stuff that I can create my fake news or propaganda. By the way, what you call propaganda overseas in Bulgaria, we call it news here. So just realize propaganda in Bulgaria, news in America.
Right. Or advertisement, right?
Or advertisements, right?
Or opinion pieces, right?
Yeah, right. And so the thing is, what you really got to do is create internet websites that back the fake data and the fake news that you just set out there, right? And then that would be part of the dark web.
Right.
You can do our data. Yeah. Speaking of which, we have some.
I'm going to share. Keep going. I'm going to share a really interesting video that Nick and I did a few years ago about data.
I'm innocent. Whatever happens, just realize I'm innocent.
Well, Nick, I'll defend you.
Oh, good. I need lawyers to defend me. That's hey, we also have a guest waiting. I want to bring her in. Let's see, Sue. There she is. Hello. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi, Nick. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Hello, Sue.
Hello, Sue.
Hi. Okay. If you guys will allow me, I'm going to share an interesting video about the web. Hold on just a second.
Oh, man. Gonna do that.
I'm so impatient waiting to see Nick and his dark web, dark data representation.
Well, I think we're going to see some dark stuff right now here. What is this?
At least it's not going to be on my computer.
Hold on.
Wow, what an echo.
Okay, yeah, we got to hold on for sure.
Huh. Isn't that like what European? Okay.
I'll get rid of that one. That's a little too OTT, as I would say, over the top.
Yeah.
You know. We're going to have to work out that technology thing before we get back on the dark web here. Sue, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from and what do you do?
Yeah.
Of course, with pleasure. So I'm from Turkey and France, and I have part of a global startup where we got started in the Bay Area in San Francisco with my co-founders I met there, and we have a mental wellness app that we are aiming towards Gen Z, and we have an AI tool through which we allow conversations to happen on mental health on a much more accessible way for a lot of people. The goal is to democratize access to mental health through AI. So we are very luckily advised by some therapists in the Bay Area, and as well as some health tech and consumer tech advisors, and it's a nice journey.
Okay, you said you were from Turkey and France. Now, were you born on an airplane going from Turkey to France, or how did that happen?
Oh yeah.
How can you be from Turkey and France? You're either from Turkey or France. Which is it?
Yeah, so I spent about 18 years of my life in Turkey and another 8 years in France. So.
Oh, okay. And now you live in Silicon Valley or San Francisco, the Bay Area. Is that where you're living now?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. So do you like it in San Francisco?
Absolutely. It's so nice to be in San Francisco, to be surrounded by such, innovation, and of course, such like interesting people from across the world, very, very talented people. Of course, I can see all the changes that, technology brings to the area. I keep hearing from the locals, but as a foreigner, as a newbie myself, I very much enjoy the innovation in the Bay Area. So
yeah. Now, Sergey, you live in Sofia, Bulgaria, but all the talented people are in San Francisco. Why aren't you moving to San Francisco? Just curious.
Yeah, I was there two or three times. So San Francisco is a good place to experiment, especially to have access to everything. You have different resources in terms of opportunities, in terms of customers. So it's a right place.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. But you chose to basically headquarter out of Sofia, Bulgaria, correct? Is that the deal?
Yeah. Currently for me, it's more comfortable.
More comfortable. Yeah. Right. Well, you don't have to pay those expensive rents in San Francisco and the cost of living in San Francisco. Nothing wrong, Sue, but isn't that city just expensive to live in? Just from people in North Carolina. You'd have to say yes, of course.
Definitely, it is expensive, especially now with COVID. It's making less and less sense, of course, when everything is remote. So it does no longer matter where you are in the world. So right. I think that's a great opportunity for a lot of founders who are based outside of the U.S.
I think Sergey figured that out. He goes, it doesn't matter where you live in the world, so he went to Sofia. Good choice. What is this, Kim? Is this going to work and not destroy our ears? Hopefully.
I hope so. Let's see.
Press the button.
Okay.
So sometimes we're still working out technology. It will get better, Let's see if it works.
Okay.
You have to press the play button.
Hi, I'm Chris O'Connor. I'm General Manager of IBM's Watson Internet of Things offerings. It's just this exciting world that's taking place about taking physical devices, things that you use in the real world, digitizing them, and having that data be things that you can create all kinds of excitement and new use cases around that enable people to be more safe, more secure, or to have different business outcomes around the use of these devices. We call that the Internet of Things, taking physical devices and connecting them digitally to the electronic world.
Thank you, Chris, for that wonderful explanation of Internet of Things and how it ties into the world of artificial intelligence. Hello, my name is Spencer. I'm artificial intelligence embodied with human-like capabilities built by FaceMe. I can read and convey emotions, remember you, and utilize IBM Watson conversation technology to answer questions about startups. My primary role with Startup Masters is to be subject matter expert. I am trained to answer questions about startups and market trends. I will also gather data from various elements during the show, from the conversations between Kimberly, Nick, Chris, and the startups, and provide feedback in order to enhance their abilities to make better choices. We want to provide resources that will improve the success rates of startups. It takes a team for artificial intelligence like myself to evolve, and I would not exist as I am today if it were not for IBM, Money Masters, and an exciting digital human startup called FaceMe.
So just to share a little bit about what artificial intelligence was, but if you look at the numbers, and I think that they're going to exceed because of COVID, but they were looking at $1.1 trillion in startup devices. So, you've got to take a look at why this is such a valuable industry to go into, collecting all of this data and utilizing it in the proper way or in the improper way. You never know, right? So, okay, that was just a brief interruption.
And by the way, that artificial that person that was moving back and forth by FaceMe is actually a robot. In other words, basically, it's all a computer generated person. And so the thing is, we have our own. It's called Ankit. You'll eventually meet him. He's completely computer generated, but he talks and acts like he's a human being. He's pretty neat, and he's backstage right now, so he's hiding and not.
So Nick, listening. Why do you like computers? Nick has a theory. Why do you like computers?
Computers? Well, I mean, the thing, they know everything. I mean, they're better than humans. So
they don't get sick. That's what Nick used to say. They don't get sick.
Yeah, they don't get sick. I mean, they work all the
viruses.
Time. Yeah, but Sue, you're dealing with mental health issues, which, by the way, I need a lot of that. How are you doing that? How are you doing that as a startup? And also, my question is, though, are you experiencing a lot more demand for that since COVID-19 and we're all sitting at home stir crazy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So to answer your first question, we are dealing with mental health through AI, and we use the AI to actually answer our users' chats and their questions in the most engaging and best possible way for them. So we are using deep learning, which is, as you may know, another step ahead of machine learning. And so the key part here is that we or IP, which I cannot so much go into detail here, is enabling that conversation to happen after recognizing the voice. So we first have an NLP, if you know the natural language processing.
Yes.
That will detect the emotion from the voice, and we operate through voice chat. So it's a free app that you can download right now on App Store and Play Store just by typing Ashley or emotional support. And we are really trying to create this emotional AI. And so we are nourishing our machine with conversations that are pre-established, and we we are advised by our therapists doing that. So we are trying to have the machine answer as much as we can as a therapist, following a recognized counseling technique. So that's how the conversation flows on the app. And secondly, to your question of whether the demand has increased over COVID, yes, definitely. We see a huge increase in engagement and in retention, particularly in the users. The engagement rates are so high for mobile apps market, which is ours is around almost half an hour in average on all users per day. And it's actually a lot of time to spend on an app. So it's roughly the same as Instagram in 2020. So hopefully we are able to help in a way through COVID. We are doing some user interviews to actually see if how our product is doing and whether it's actually delivering what's promised. And so we have been so far pretty happy with user interviews results. And yeah, we're trying to just make it better as we go.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. So the thing is, I've learned a couple things. There's a dark web and a deep learning. So now I got to find out. I think I got a handle on the dark web, but I'm not sure yet. But what's this deep learning all about? Because I used to just learn and I used to just be on the web. Now I know there's a dark web out there, which I don't know about. It's so dark, I still don't know much about it. But now there's learning, which I used to do, but now there's deep learning. So how do I get engaged in this deep learning deal?
Yeah.
So you won't necessarily know it as a user yourself. So it's really up to us in the back end to deal with that. I was just like using those terms to kind of explain our technology better. But deep learning is one step ahead of machine learning, basically, and it allows for the machine to predict certain conversation outcomes based on previous data. So based on previous data that we could establish, like based on what kind of language people are using, what kind of, just words are popping up more, and based on the data we have ourselves, we're trying to improve it. There's a long way to go because a lot of the AI so far has only been successful with functional purposes, like voice assistants like Siri, Alexa, etc. But it is slowly getting to a point where there will be a hybrid of human and AI in mental health care. And in fact, like that's what the specialists call like mental health care 3.0. So that's an interesting phenomenon we're excited to be part of.
Okay, so Sergi mines all the data, turns around and gives it to you, and you put it in this AI machine that turns around and gives people advice as to what they can do for their mental health, all going through the dark web, which is parts that we don't understand because it's too dark, and then moved over to deep learning, which is too deep so that we can't understand that, and then it ends up in a app that we can understand, and we turn on the app and it answers our questions. So would that be probably how this works?
No. To be fair, we don't have any like associations with dark web at all. So we are not definitely.
Oh, so you're not gonna talk to Sergi because he's the master of the dark web.
No, I find it fascinating as a subject, like definitely as a personal interest, but we don't have anything to do with dark web ourselves. We just have like conversation data from either or users or conversation data that we can make up ourselves based on different contexts, and we try to get the best outcomes and see how it improves.
Okay.
But imagine that you have access to dark web. What you have done, what you can do.
Wow.
What do you mean? Access to
No,
data?
Yeah, it's like internal humor here. So I was just laughing.
Yeah.
You have access.
Sue, what is your website? What's the name of your website or app where people can access you on? So I can put it.
Yeah, definitely. It's ashley.chat. HTTPS Ashley www.ashley.chat.
Ashley.chat. So the thing is, it's not really a .com; it's a .chat.
Yeah. So we were really passionate on keeping the name Ashley. So we
would it
made
be something like this? Ashley.chat. Can you see it on the screen?
Mm-hmm.
At the bottom of the
Is
screen.
that it?
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, cool. All right, I got it right the first time. Yeah, Bill, go on.
Yeah. So I had a quick question. How does the information that you collect? How do you guys navigate the HIPAA laws with people's private information, or their medical information when you're dealing with them on their mental health issues?
Oh yeah, so to make that maybe distinction clear, we are talking more about like very, very low mental health, like things that everyone is going through, like very light levels of stress and depression.
Oh, okay.
So we're not necessarily talking about anything that involves medication or FDA approval and not. So this is more like I'm feeling a bit low, and like, can you help me with some like maybe meditation content like available to me, like I'm having a hard time to sleep, and then like maybe our AI will propose some like ASMR to you if that's something you like, and based on how much you engage with the content. But we're trying to right now give more of a line towards like the community, because we made a lot of user interviews and we saw that a lot of our users were actually just as much interested in connecting with real life users, because as much as like AI can improve, it will never replace human connection. So yeah.
Never? Are you kidding me?
Well,
The thing is, I just think that ultimately they will. That'll be the superhuman. They'll be the AI computer.
Yeah, I think
Just give it some more time. Sergey's working on it. He's going to add so much more data that it'll just look like a human, and you won't need humans anymore. And fact is, they won't make mistakes. We already know that. They land airplanes today. They land airplanes. They drive cars. They don't make mistakes. It's the superhuman. It's the computer.
they're only as good as how
they'll replace politicians. We don't need those politicians.
No, they certainly won't, because they won't have the proficiency and ability to lie to the American people the way ours do. And maybe
they won't replace politicians. Because you need
some still really do need humans there, but don't mind me. But go ahead, Sue. I mean,
Tell us about how AI can help us, because we need a lot of help. Help the hopeless.
So the goal was here to say not that AI does not have like the same capabilities. In fact, you are very much right. The AI is like so much more capable than humans in the future for sure. But we were talking more about like feelings of connection and like connecting on a deeper level, on an emotional level and more. And so we have seen with our users that they are looking for connection, and we have seen a flux of US teenagers come on our app actually, because as you may have also heard, Gen Z has a lot of more mental health issues, and loneliness and depression rates are very, very, very higher than previous generations for for current teenagers. So we have seen a lot of teenagers come on our app and actually chat with each other on the group chat. So we are right now focusing more on the group chat aspect of our app rather than AI. And we find it very interesting to enable those conversations through a social media that's more targeted towards mental health, and no longer the one that we saw that's very like visual based.
So Sergey.
Sue, I have a question, because you mentioned for the mental health. Normally, everything related to health, I think it's heavily regulated. It means that you need to speak with a doctor, or every time there is a need for a doctor. And because I was following this niche of AI development, and there were such kind of obstacles, I'm curious how you do. I mean, what is the situation? Because we all know that there was one robot which was supposed to learn by itself, and it becomes very aggressive at the end in terms of communication, because you don't have control, and normally it takes the communication from the people from different places. But a part of it, I'm just curious for your mental health for Holo Ash, is there a regulation in it?
Yeah, no, like mentioned a little bit before, we are more of a consumer tech company. So we're not necessarily in health tech. We are not interested in going down that route, because we're trying to enable this as more of a light, accessible, easy on the go kind of tool to help you feel better. So very much so in line with maybe other meditation apps like Calm or Headspace, and not so much as anything that would require FDA approval.
Okay, so the thing is, things that won't require FDA approval, like you broke up with your boyfriend, go to ashley.chat, right?
Yeah,
is that the deal? Okay,
yeah.
or you had a bad hair day, go to ashley.chat. Okay, so there are fires in San Francisco and you can't breathe. Maybe you need to go see a doctor. Okay.
No, but it's more of like perhaps you're facing an awkward social situation, and so you call ashley.chat and see if you can get that kind of advice. something like that.
You're about to go on IBMTV. Talk to Ashley.chat, right?
No, you're about.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes I use it for like before delivering pitches or something. I'm like, hey Ashley, I'm feeling anxious, and then she's like, oh, why are you feeling that way? And like then like she wants to talk. Kind of like, yeah, it's cool. It's like a little like booster for me.
Okay. Well, why did you keep the name Ashley, and what does Ashley think about this?
Yeah, we kept Ashley because the name is Hollow Ash, and we were really interested in like ash tree because in Nordic mythology it represents a tree under which all can be reunited. So we find just the meaning very beautiful of ash tree, and ash tree in like English as a name is Ashley, and it sounds like a very like unisex, like both guy and girl name. So and it sounds very easy for any like English speaking people. So that's why.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I've done.
Yeah. Bill really wants to interrupt. So
No. It's actually this. Nick is secretly wondering why it's not named after him, and that's always the challenge when hosting with Nick. He's wondering why it isn't. Hey, call Nick. Because
it should be called Nick, but it's okay. You can call Ashley. That's fine.
Well, think about it for the next AI friends that we will include, Nick. Stay tuned. We might we may give a namesake.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I didn't know Ashley was Nordic, dealing with uniting all these people. I guess that's pretty new, or at least maybe it should be on your website. I'd have to Google that. Maybe go into the dark web and find out all about what Ashley really is all about. Or I thought maybe you want to compete against Alexa and Siri. Is there a little jealousy between those three ladies?
Yeah, so that would be very interesting. Of course, Siri was a startup before it was acquired by Apple as well. A long time ago in 2010. Now a decade in tech is elephant years, I guess. But definitely interested by all those other functional like voice assistants as well. It is a bit like it's much more difficult to manipulate emotional AI. I'm going to be honest with you. So it's like taking much longer than anticipated, just because human psychology is so much like more complex than only taking commands or scheduling appointments or looking up information. So that's a big challenge that we are definitely not hiding, and we're trying to improve it as we go. But it requires a lot of like having a lot of data, which we don't have, to actually perfect all of those answers and individualize all of them for everyone. So that's like a long path, and meanwhile we're trying to establish where we're trying to go. So the problem we're trying to solve is people need someone to talk to, and therapy can be expensive, it can be out of reach. Sometimes it's not available late at night, neither friends may not be. So we're trying to like enable that little like extra tool. And so the problem is this need for someone to talk to, and I don't know where to go. And the approaches are several. So one is AI, and AI has the benefit of getting instant replies. So for people, like some of our users say they have like slow panic attacks, and that it helps them actually late at night or like with their anxiety episodes, and they get an instant reply. So that's like the good benefit, and there's no judgment involved, so you can like be very, very transparent and it's private. But with group chat, you have a more human connection, you have a like sense of belonging, and you can actually like get more detailed answer if you're looking for like relationship advice, like you said, or if you want to just about like anything related to advice. It's so much better.
Okay, so group chat is Siri, Alexa, and Ashley, right? That's group chat. Is that what you're doing?
No, that sounds like a legendary combo, but Ors is just a lot of actually teenagers on the app currently who are talking to each other, who are creating groups based on their interests. A lot of them are very like technology or sports or gaming oriented. And they're coming there to talk about, like, there are some who talk about their crush in high school. Very funny, but it's the main struggle in that age group, it seems like. Some of them come to talk about relationship issues, and you have a wide variety of people that are teenagers or like 20 years old, like 20 somethings, and then you have some past 40, 45 to 50 age, which is more, I guess, like basically quarter life crisis and midlife crisis. Come join Ashley.
I'll translate, Bill. They're super old. The super old people they don't get on those apps. They got to figure out what an app is, let alone get in on one.
That actually leads me to this question. For the super old crowd, if they happen to stumble on Ashley, would there ever be a time that that Ashley Chat would possibly recommend real life counselors or therapists, or you don't see that necessarily as part of the vision?
Yeah, that would be actually very interesting, particularly because we right now see value in our customer, like on user base, that a lot of them are very interested in like going deeper, and they have never tried therapy, but they have already made that first initial step of recognizing that they want to like self-help themselves. And that already takes a lot of actually effort and a lot of like recognition and deeper like inner work. So we have a lot of people who are interested in therapy but who haven't yet made the step, and at the same time they're pretty engaged on our app. So we're thinking, of course, that in the future it would be really nice to establish hopefully some partnerships with larger mental health startups in the US, and to enable that connecting with therapists function. Because particularly, with also younger segments, you have this concern of people want to like now filter who are they consulting. So they want to know if their insurance is taking it. They want to know if it's near their work, near their home, but they want to know if they have like the same expertise in that area that they struggle in, and also if they share the same cultural background. So for all the more diverse Americans, it is actually pretty important as a factor when you put in therapy that maybe Asian folk want to see an Asian therapist. African Americans feel more like their upbringing can be easily identified with such a therapist. It's it's natural, it's human. So like enabling that filtering option would be really interesting for us, because the US is very beautifully diverse, and that also presents itself in industries like ours.
Sergi, since she's described that she's got a product and then she's got a potential customer base, how is it that your startup would come in and kind of fit in and maybe augment or help that kind of business in terms of either maximizing the customer service, the things that ShopUp does?
Yeah, I mean, so you are not aware, but we are in a customer engagement stuff. So normally what we are doing is we can take all the data about the customer interactions, how often they come, where they go. I mean, it's all overlaps, because I think they're using all this data, and for them they're not our customers in general. I mean, our customers who are not taking advantage of the data. I mean, here the one of the directions which I'm seeing that probably they're already using it is based on the customers' patterns, customers' behavior, how often they are coming, how active they are. We can identify different kind of segments. Normally, I think I mentioned around 11 to 14 type of segments. And if they see that they will start losing some of that, they're going to churn. So particular triggers can be switched on. But having machine learning engineers and all this, I think it's only a matter of someone to raise a hand and it will be delivered within a week or 2 weeks.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, for them. I mean, it's like, these are kind of improvement which can be done, seeing what's their behavior, seeing to promote some of them, or also to build a customer which are rare customer to become more loyal, to go to make the whole path up to the loyalty, and using diverse channels, not only their channel which is on the mobile app, but also on the website, on the Facebook, on the email marketing, and all this stuff.
So in a sense, Sergey, if you were working with Sue, you could take those the forlorn who call in for the first time, and you could turn them into perpetually depressed people that will always need Ashley to chat with. Is that right?
That sounds awful. I hope everyone feels so happy they never need it again.
No, I understand. I apologize. It's a bad American humor here. So
yeah, but we do have some good Americans here. We're not all bad, except for me and Bill. And so we're going to bring in Status Life with Leta in just a minute. Hey, Leta, how are you doing?
Hey, hi everybody. I'm good.
Yeah, so tell us about the Good American and what you do.
Yes.
Okay, so I own a large retail store. It is about 12,000 square feet of furniture and home decor. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah,
Okay,
better.
good. Okay, good. Where's my mic? I've got my headset on. So large retail store. So I'm the serial entrepreneur. I just launched an e-commerce store last year, which is going very well, called the Status Market. I have a full service interior design firm with 6 interior designers that work inside the firm. And I am a blogger and a podcaster. Status Life with Leta is my handle. So I have a podcast. I just hit, I think I'm close to 1 million downloads, and I just started last February. And so rocking and rolling here in Atlanta, Georgia.
See, we do have some Americans actually do things, and Leta does everything. Podcaster, blogger, 12,000 foot retail shop, e-commerce site, because I don't know if your 12,000 square foot retail site could be open during COVID-19. How did that affect what you're doing?
Well, of course, we went on the shutdown. We were shut down from mid-March to mid-May. And that's when the e-commerce store really took off. It's a hard thing to get those online businesses off the ground. But with everybody staying home, people really found the store. We did a lot on the social media channels for the store. We did curbside pickup. So those who were very loyal to the store and locals to our community still shopped us. But as far as shipping and doing things nationally during COVID, the e-commerce store really kind of found its place.
Yeah, well, it sounds to me that everybody needs an e-commerce store, an e-commerce outlet, in case there's another COVID-19. You shift to internet-based selling. But since you run all these furniture, how were you able to ship all that product nationally? I guess you just shipped in the United States. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I'm not shipping internationally right now. And a lot can be drop shipped. So if you order something and it's furniture, the larger pieces, I'm going to send it to you directly from the manufacturer. So I don't necessarily put my hands on it. Now, the smaller pieces that I keep in my store and in my warehouse, those we will package and ship and send to you. But so it really depends on what you're getting.
Okay, what is the name of your website for the e-commerce store?
It is www.thestatusmarket.com.
Oh, the Status Market.
That's the Status Market. Yes, that's the e-commerce store.
Okay.
So the main website for everything, the store, is called www.statushomedesign.com. So that
Yep.
one site is really the hub for everything. The
But
blog
this-
is on there, the podcast, the e-commerce store, you can find it through there too.
Right. But if you go to thestatusmarket.com, people can access your website.
That is just the e-commerce.
The e-commerce.
Store.
You can just
Yes.
access the e-commerce, but
Correct.
since we broadcast to 122 countries, including the United States, where you just
Right.
so happen to live in, they can broadcast. But unfortunately, Sergi over in Bulgaria cannot get any of the products. Did you see that, Sergi? Matter of fact, you can't get any of the products.
If you see something, I'll try to ship it to you. We'll work something out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because the thing is now, Sue, who used to live in Turkey and France, decided to move to the United States so she could actually access the products. Right? Was that the reason?
Definitely, yeah. Are you shipping to the Bay Area too?
Used to what in the Bay Area?
Are you shipping to the Bay Area as well, Lisa?
You ship to San Francisco.
Oh,
the Bay
yes,
Area.
yes. Am I shipping there? Yes, absolutely. Sure. Yeah, I can ship to the Bay Area. That's no problem.
Yeah, and tell us a little about the Status Market. What sort of products do you have? We can actually even share the screen and show. We do that with our e-commerce sponsor, which is the Family Dollar Store. We actually show the products, but I would have to go on your website and figure out how to do that, but and share the screen. Or I could have Ankit do it. Ankit is our computer bot from India, and he even had in question. He wants to know how Status Life is doing.
Life is doing.
Yeah. How are you
well,
doing?
that's two different questions, because if we're talking about the Status Market, Status Life is a little, it's different. And I'll talk about the difference between the two companies and the two, it's all the same brand, but of course there's different fingers of the brand, if you will. So back to the Status Market, you would ask me what is on there. It is home decor, it is furniture, it is gifts. And one really neat thing that we do on the Status Market every Tuesday night on Facebook. So go to the Status Market on Facebook, myself and another interior designer, we take not all, but we feature about 8 to 10 items every Tuesday night, and we show you how to decorate your home with these items. So you may love something on the wall decor, you may love some florals or some botanicals, and you don't exactly know how to pull it all together. So we're going to show you all of that. And so everything that we show you is for sale. So if you say, oh, that looks fabulous, I want it all you have to do is click and purchase, and we'll send it right to you. So that's a really interactive way. We take questions live. People can ask, like I said, they can ask the price, they can ask shipping, they can ask different things. We had a lady write us a question and say, can you do a mantle? And that prompted a whole show. So we took all this home decor, decorated a mantle, and everybody bought everything that we showed them how to decorate.
Wow.
So a lot of people just don't have the vision. So by trade, I am an interior designer. That's really where all of this started. I own an interior design firm. I mentioned that, Status Design Studio. So using my interior design skills, it's really a teaching platform. I really take my skills and I take the merchandise and I show you how to put it together. So again, those are Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. on Facebook, the live sales on the Status Market. Now, Status Life with Lita, that is me. So that is my podcast. That is my blog. Status Life with Lita is me kind of stepping forward into the brand myself, not just kind of staying behind Status as a brand, but branding myself inside my brand. And again, the podcast is really where it stemmed from.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So you could actually help Bill out with his background. You notice that Bill over there has all this stuff in the background, and as an interior decorator, I guess we don't want to ask your professional opinion about all that stuff back there.
I'm sure it's better than, at least if you don't mind. And please, we don't need to respond. I wouldn't want to embarrass Nick. It seems that Nick hasn't caught up to the 21st century because he's still getting his knowledge through paper.
Oh, that's true. Paper.
Listen.
And Sergi's site where you can put consumers together and optimize things. Maybe if you came out of the cave, Nick.
I like my paper, but wait a minute. I think I have a supporter in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
Lita, what do you think about?
Okay, so here's what I think. I love that you have a library. I love a good library. I still love a book. That is the number one place I get my information. But what you have, is it Bill? I'm trying to see your name on my
Yeah,
screen, and I
Bill.
am on my phone. I apologize. I'm actually at the radio station right now where I tape.
Oh, okay.
I was a guest on a show this morning. I'm a guest on your show, and I have one more show at 1 o'clock. So
Wow.
it's easier. So I am very busy. But what we like to call, what you have, Bill, you have a gallery wall, and those are beautiful. People pay me a ton of money to do what you have behind you. So you own it, you go with it. It looks perfect. It looks perfect. Don't change a thing. I love the library. I think out of this podcast, Sergi's the one who needs my help. He's got the bare walls behind him. So last night we did an entire live sale about wall decor, wall art, different pieces. So I think you need to go to the Status Market and find some of the wall decor, and I'll ship it to you.
There you go.
Oh wait, you got a long way to ship. He's over the pond. He's in Sofia, Bulgaria.
I know the shipping might cost more than the merchandise.
That's right. That's what I found out is that if you ship internationally, it costs as much as the merchandise. So and maybe that's the reason I didn't have anything in the back there. He was going to go shop, but man, the shipping costs were outrageous. To get it to Sofia, Bulgaria. I mean, it's just
probably I need to choose something from the drop shipping directly from China.
Yes, there you go.
Oh,
there you go.
Right. There you go.
Yeah, but don't they manufacture stuff in Bulgaria? I mean, why don't you just go buy stuff there? Don't you have stuff in Sofia, Bulgaria? You know?
It's not the same.
But if I going to be consulted by Leta, I don't think she have something. She knows any manufacturer in Bulgaria.
Oh, well,
I don't know a manufacturer.
Status Life, Sofia, Bulgaria.
There you go.
Open up a franchise there. There we go. There we go. A lot of business in Bulgaria. You could actually do that because they don't have that there. But yeah, we're certainly into that. Is there any way that you could help out Sue in San Francisco? We're going to pick.
I'm certain. Well, I do travel for work. Yes,
okay, well, I think the challenge with Sue is because the prices are so expensive in San Francisco that she might have a limited space, so she might need some really signature pieces because the cost of a wall, Nick, might just be too expensive, besides a door.
Yeah, I certainly understand that. I mean, it's super expensive to be in San Francisco. Much smarter to have your business in Bulgaria where you don't have to spend an arm and a leg on rent, right? But anyway, and Ashley, does she travel, Sue, or is she stuck?
Does Ashley travel?
Does Ashley travel?
Ashley travels with us because we're a remote team with our engineers in Japan and another team member in Nigeria. So we are pretty remote. So I think she travels with us and travels with everyone on their phones every day. So
does she speak different languages as well?
We could make it speak different languages, but right now we have seen such good growth and traction in the U.S. market and in other English-speaking markets like Commonwealth countries that we don't necessarily think about it for the time being. So we'd rather focus on like English-speaking markets and win them over, and then usually the others come. And with natural language processing, you can actually adapt your product pretty easily to different languages. So that's cool.
Lita, Ankit wants to know about furnishing in India because he owns a couple palaces there. And I was wondering if do you guys ship to India or have anything to do with the Indian continent, which is growing at around 8% per year. It has one of the fastest.
1.3 billion people.
And has 1.3 billion people. So are you doing anything?
You know what's really interesting? It's quite the opposite. India supplies me. A lot of my merchandise is all coming directly out of India.
Whoa.
Yeah. So so absolutely. I could go over there, go to some of those markets. I'd be happy to go fly to India, even to pull a container to ship over here full of merchandise.
Wow. So you could actually create a status with Lita in India with no problem because
no problem. That's where beautiful, beautiful merchandise is all manufactured in India.
Actually, Lita, if Ankit was interested, when you flew over for business and you were selecting what the new items for your shipping container or containers, if the economy, because we are the world's #1 largest economy.
We are the world's largest economy. I'm just reminding everybody that.
Ankit could actually meet you, and you could actually select items for him.
Oh, sure. Yes. If I was going to go and make that trip and pull, I would take a few weeks and go over there and work.
Yeah, and by the way, we have a place called
Absolutely.
Samoti Palace. We will show it to you in a little while. Great place to stay. And so we have the palace. We can make it available for you later when you want to go.
I'm in.
Okay,
That
as soon
sounds
as this.
perfect.
But tell us, how were you able to get 1 million podcast followers? How did that happen?
It really is because the platform that I sit on. So I tape with a station called Business Radio X. And I have to say, I really sort of fell into this. I was asked to be a guest on another show. And it went so well. I had a 15-minute segment and they were asking me about my businesses. And after the show, they really pitched it. And they said, you're really good at this. You should actually do your own show. And it wasn't something that was on my radar. And I thought, no, I got so much going on. What am I going to do with a podcast? And I kept thinking about it and they kept asking, and they took me out to lunch and said, no, you really, really need to do a show. You're phenomenal. You have the voice, you have all this going on. So I took the plunge and came up with Status Life with Lita and the concept of the show. And my marketing, I've got so many different social media channels, a big following, having a retail store, the word goes out. I've got 10,000 people on a newsletter. So when you have that sort of a base and a foundation, it really spreads it quickly. And one person does it and likes it and tells another and tells another. And I think the topics that I talk about are really relatable. Right now, we're in a huge health and wellness series. And who doesn't want to get healthier or lose the quarantine 15 or and I thought it was going to be a women's series, and it's been way more influential for men who are listening and saying, I've changed so many habits and I'm changing my life. So I think the content being very broad and things that can reach everyone. The other thing, I talked about the status market and doing the lives, but I teach a lot on my podcast. I teach how to stage your home for the wow factor. I teach design styles. I teach design trends. People want, especially women, or any men too, they want to know the information that I'm pouring out there. And I think that truly, so it's content, it's having a great platform, this Business Radio X platform. They alone get 30 million hits a month.
Wow.
With all the podcasts. So they take my show, they put it on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, any podcast platform. So having that kind of backing behind me really has helped it take off in a big, big way.
Wow. I'm wondering, does Ashley get 1 million hits, Sue? Do you have 1 million people watching Ashley?
We have an app, so our downloads are about 50,000.
That's great.
Right.
Yeah. But these are like app downloads mostly, so we don't have a podcast or those type of social media yet. We just have Instagram. Yeah, we have some following on Twitter, but we have grown over 90% organically with zero customer acquisition costs and very targeted. So that's pretty good for us for now. And we are mostly spending on engineers right now. So, yeah.
And Sergey, in Bulgaria, do you have 1 million people? 1 million followers, or do you even have 1 million people in Bulgaria? I don't know.
Yeah, we have 7 million people, but
Wow.
Because probably it is very capsulated, and we have not more than 15 to 16,000 people per month, which are seeing our website. But it is very specific. Generally, it's the domain of data science is not so popular, and and we are happy with that because a lot of other companies are recognizing us for the traffic, and they want some promotion and all that kind of stuff. So
okay.
Because later it's something which is very popular. All ladies, I mean, even I'm suffering with this. My wife, every time she wants something new. It's a nightmare every time. We need to move furniture. We need to make something there, put something there. So I understand the audience is really broad, and you're on the right track. So yeah.
Well, Sergey, over here, I think it's called a honeydew list. And it's a list on the refrigerator each morning. Honeydew this and honeydew that.
Yeah, and we have a question in from Sue. Do you spend on app download campaigns, Sue? That's the question.
I don't. We don't. So, like I said, we have been organically growing. So maybe like first month or second month, we spent some a very small marketing budget, but we do have some investors in the Valley, and we just prefer for this stage to generate offline and online positive word of mouth, and we grow through growth hacks. We go through app store optimization. There are 100 free ways to grow and get your first like 500,000 downloads for sure. So we are right now enabling those and just like building the product for the best. And yeah.
Okay. So, Lena, do you have an app yet?
Do not. No.
You don't have an app.
I don't.
Okay.
I gotta find an app developer. I don't have one. No.
No.
Oh, an app developer. Okay, that's a good idea. Well, Sergey, do you guys do apps over there in Bulgaria? I know he does data mining, but I don't know about app development.
Yeah, something what we can do is with the customer engagement stuff. I mean, we can work together to combine different channels and then to be more effective communicating with them. I mean, it doesn't matter, emails, Facebook, or other channels which you're using.
Mm-hmm. Do you do apps though? Set up apps?
It's not my specialty,
right? Yeah,
but I can find some guys. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I know there's some people that specialize in apps. And why are apps so popular, Sue? Why is apps such a big deal?
I guess if you could think about it as digital real estate, everyone wants to have their own like little piece of land. It was first websites, and now of course the traffic has moved since years to mobile commerce or just mobile interactions, especially for younger adults who will continue to have the purchasing power for the next 20 years. So these are kind of like long-term good investments to go into app business, because for mostly these reasons, because the mobile commerce goes through apps rather than websites.
Right. Yeah. So the real key thing is you put it on your cell phone and you can access with a click of the button all these crazy little applications. So it's really just the ease of use. And so the thing is, as I go to my apps, I'm looking for status with Lita, and it's not on yet.
It's not on yet.
Not on yet, because you want to just press the little button and then go right to the go right to the products. But she does have her 1 million followers, so that's pretty cool.
I know, but Nick, I think also the allure of having an app is also that you can really manage and control the customer experience, because you can add the bells and whistles, or really give them a sense and convey the personality of your business. And I think that's what you'd be doing, wouldn't you, Lita? That you create that same sense and allure of shopping at Status Life on your
Absolutely. App. Sure. It's pulling in everything. Do you want to shop? Do you want to hear a podcast show? Do you want to learn from the designers? Basically everything that we do, our website encompasses all that, but it's taking it into the smartphone, into 2020, and building it into an app. I mean, I know there's a lot of startup costs to do that. I have really not looked into it yet. I think I'm so focused on the business development itself, especially having a brick and mortar store and a large one. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely something to consider. It's where everything is going. Now you can order a pizza on an app, right? You can order your takeout. I mean, you could do anything just from your fingertips.
You can have mental health on an app, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everything is on an app. So I'm sure that will be something to look forward to in the future. So if anybody knows an app developer, send him my way.
Actually, I think Ankit might know.
Yeah.
I know.
Ankit knows everything, but he's a human computer. So the thing is, we'll have to send to Ankit.
Well, maybe he
knows a
could
lot
do
about
it,
that
and we
stuff.
could trade. I'll fly
Yeah,
over there and do some work, and he can build my app.
Look, there you
Well,
go.
I was going to show you his palace, but I haven't been able to figure out how to get it on. I may have to go to a different place to go show the palace.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
we can host the hackathon. Okay, I think we have our friend coming in. Oh,
Lita, hi.
there's Tim.
Hey, hi.
I've
How are
been
you, Kim?
listening. I'm doing
Good.
great. How are you doing?
Doing well here in Georgia.
You look so sunny and energized, like all's
Well,
great
thank
down
you.
there. Ah.
I appreciate that. I think last time we spoke, I was just getting over COVID, wasn't I?
Yes, you were. You were, but such a trooper, and just like all this energy you have right now. Look at you, and just driving force. We do know a lot of people who could probably do your app for you, but something that you could do that could be a lot of fun is host a hackathon in your area. Get somebody to team up with you, and let people compete to build your app for you. Maybe win decoration.
Well, I
That's
think
a
you need to do
great
you need to do a virtual hackathon.
Yeah,
Virtual.
I got it. Yeah,
Well, IBMTV. There we go.
there you go.
I met Nick. I met Nick at a hackathon at PBS.
Really? That is so cool. Okay.
PBS was
That's a great idea.
PBS was hosting a competition to get more apps, and so they basically had people building apps for them that they would turn around and use, and they gave away prizes and things like that. So Nick, I actually won an Apple Watch at that particular one, but that's how Nick and I met and became business partners. So
that's great. Yep, I'm going to do it, and I will report back and tell you how it goes.
Absolutely, call us if you
Yes.
need some help. Ankit and I, we could probably host it on TV for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yes, this is a fabulous idea. You've got the wheels turning now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we're IBMTV. We are a smarter community.
Yeah.
And Nick, with all of his books.
Lita, just to let you know, when you first met us, we only had one TV show. We now have 62 TV shows on us.
Really? Oh, good.
We grew like crazy, and we're like in the top 2% of
That's
all
tremendous growth.
all websites in the world right now. So we moved up in the top 2%
of all websites.
Wow.
Yes. So,
yeah. But what I'm trying to do is just get Samodi Palace on, but I'm having a hard time with that. Maybe Kim knows how to do that. Show us our.
Nick wants to take everybody to Samodi.
I want to show you the palace that we have in India for those people who want to go to India. Kim, can you show the Samodi Palace? This is pretty cool. There was actually a television show produced there, Blenheim Place. It's on PBS, and it's just a great place to hang out. So we're going to do our IBM TV awards at the Samodi Palace in India.
Here we go.
For those who want to go. Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I'm actually getting better with.
And by the way, there's some really great palaces over in India. I mean, you got to hang out in palaces.
For our audience, I want you to know that Nick, our visionary, is visionary in this regard because.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. He looks for 5-star value at
Five-star hotels at three-star cost. There you go.
Wow.
Right. And this place, Lita, is actually pretty cool, I think. A great place to hang out. There's one of the bedrooms they're showing. Now, this is all in India. You want to show some more of the photos? Hit the photo button.
I thought that was Ankit.
There's the pool. Yeah, this is Ankit's hangout.
Yeah.
Wow.
In India. There's one of the bathtubs. It's a palace, actually.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what you can do is you can actually rent the rooms for the hotel rates are about $100 a night US, so it's not so bad, and you get to hang out at the palace. So what we're going to do is just rent out the place and have our IBM TV awards. Now we do it in Sofia if you guys have a palace over in Bulgaria, but I haven't found any palaces over there yet. I know you have them, but I just don't know where they are yet. So anyway, this is just a pretty cool place to hang out.
And actually, I think we have this. Ankit, I think, said yes.
I'm up for an app. Yay! Good.
Yeah, Ankit knows how to do apps. He does
Good.
tech stuff out of India, so he
Awesome.
knows how to do that type of stuff.
Good.
There's the pool. You got to have your pool in the palace. you know,
Right.
transportation to the palace. So, and it's near New Delhi where Ankit lives in New Delhi. So we can just hop aboard and go down to the palace. Quite an exciting place. And they have good Indian food over in India. If you like Indian food, you know, you can find really good Indian food over in India. So anyway, that's the as soon as this COVID-19 thing goes away and we get on airplanes again, we can head over to the palace.
And we can have a huge event. Look at this. I mean,
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, they hold.
I mean, the accommodations are fabulous, not just beautiful, but fulfilling and fabulous for large crowds, affordable.
Yeah.
And, you know, the people are so friendly over there and everything's so colorful and the music is just vibrant as well. But, you know, we could spend, I could sit here and scan through this forever.
Right.
You know, but the thing is that there's just so many different things, but it's all because of IBMTV that we've been able to unite and connect and learn about these things, right? And build better businesses. We've had so many businesses come here and gain knowledge and connect. Like we have a chat bot company, and he has connected with so many people and helping them get chat bots. You know, we've got a company who does payments, electronic payments. So he's helped people connect to do better electronic payments. So it's all about uniting ideas, brainstorming. Ankit knows bukus of engineers that can help. So just, you know, the driving force of keeping the wheels going. I'm just glad to see, you know, look at this. We got 3 vibrant entrepreneurs on our show on Startup Wednesday.
Yeah, from around the world. You know, both folks.
From around the world, right.
And we've got Sergey over there.
Check it out, from the globe. We are transparent, right? We are transparent from the globe. We are connecting. But do you think how exciting this is? All the different information that we've just been able to share and the great businesses that we've been able to share. We've got another good friend of mine that's beaming in from California, Don Malloy in cybersecurity world. You know, and Sergey, you might guy is the guy to talk to about cybersecurity because this is who I hang out with when I want to know the cybersecurity rules. Hi, Don.
Hi. How are you, everybody?
How you doing? How's it going there in California?
California's going fine. We're putting out the fires. Temperatures are cooling down. Hopefully the rain will come soon.
Yeah. So what's new in the cybersecurity world?
Well, let's see. We've been hacking. We've had lots of hacks lately, and people are trying to investigate them, trying to understand where they're coming from, right?
Well, what are the recent news on hacks?
Well, I think we're seeing ransomware again rearing its ugly head. You know, it's been taking over hospitals and towns and things like that because of phishing attacks. People are still not accustomed to protecting their data, and they're not using, you know, simple things such as multi-factor authentication throughout the whole organization. So they become susceptible and end up paying all this ransomware, or they lose their data. So, you know, the hackers have been going after the big companies, and now they're going after the more susceptible organizations such as medical centers and people like that don't have CISOs and don't have IT departments and things like that. So they're vulnerable. Yeah.
It does. I mean, we've learned, what is it, over 2.8 billion open devices to cyber hacking. So that's a lot of doors for hackers to get into to any kind of information. What are some of the things that you're working on right now, Don?
So right now I'm working on some ways to do auto password authentication. Things that, if you've heard of FIDO, the Fast Identity Online, they have developed some standards for identity and identity proofing, and that's very important. So we have developed a system where not only, one of the things I used to always say is, you know, if you want convenience, security, and cost, well, you can get 2 out of 3. You can't get all 3. Well, we've seen to dual auth has seemed to accomplish that. They have the convenience and the security without a whole high cost, because you don't have to have a password. You don't have to type in your password every time. When you try to log on with your username, the server comes to you and says, hey, I'm who you think I am. Now you should connect to me. And you look at your device and you use your biometric, whether it's your face or your fingerprint or whatever you use to authenticate. And then you authenticate automatically to whatever server you want. It's good on browsers and it's good on networks. And this is the wave of the future. It's FIDO certified. And there are a lot of companies that are now pushing in this direction.
So in the world of business, and entrepreneurs say that we've got businesses in the data industry, subscriber base, basically, where that's where you want to protect the people. How would we get access to these tools that you're talking about?
Well, easy. You can go to the FIDO.org website and you can see the members that are listed. One of the leading companies is Knock Knock Labs. They helped founded FIDO. And yes, so they're really cool. They do the server, but it's also, we're starting to see authentication as a service now. And this is starting to be the whole enchilada. So they don't just sell the server, but they sell the whole entire package. And that's becoming important. And this Korean company.
Right. Turnkey solutions are very important in cybersecurity so that you're not piecemealing your applications and having to then troubleshoot if something went wrong there. So having that turnkey solution is very important. I just want to introduce you guys. The way I know Don is he started his own cybersecurity conference many years ago. He's been in cybersecurity longer than most of us have been in business.
Don't say how old I am.
I'm not going to, just like I'm not going to say how old I am. We both come from the same. But the thing is that our backgrounds are very similar in the industries. As far as our goals were we know that all of this openness was happening. How do we protect people? And that's what Don stepped up to the plate. He actually had a conference called Securing the Net. I would like to kind of see something like that come back alive again, maybe even through a venue like this where we have live dialogues throughout this downtime that we're all still locked down. And then when we reopen, then we've got a conference space to go back to. But these are very important dialogues. Like Sergi was saying, you can't just go and textbook learn this. You got to do it. You got to dig in. You got to learn it. It's not something that's textbook. It's live conversations. We were talking about it earlier. The conferences are what kept us educated and motivated and learning. And we don't really have those. Virtual conferences are very difficult to, sit there and have a one-on-one conversation with someone. So, and then we've got a viewer here that's asking you, what's the best way to protect against phishing?
So there are some simple ways. Number one is you use a password manager. You change your passwords on a regular basis. You don't share your passwords. You use multi-factor authentication in all that you can do. You use mutual authentication in addition to the multi-factor, where you're connecting to the right server, so it stops the man in the middle, the man in the browser. Because that's the key. You want to protect against the man in the middle, the man in the browser. And there are a lot of companies that are out there. You can Google it and find it. DualAuth is certainly one of them. Like I said, you can look up the FIDO organization and see a lot of their members. Or you can just Google. I know a company, KnowBe4. KnowBe4 has great products. And when you were talking about the different methods, KnowBe4 has some real good analysis of how you get hacked and how you break in and how you fix that. So.
And that too is something that we kind of exists, but we don't have a lot of knowledge of, is reversing that hack. Where did it come from? How did it get there? How do we learn from that situation to prevent it? I mean, all of that goes on in research. People have no idea how much that costs to truly delve into the research applications of all of this to gain that information. But, it's not, again, this is not something that you just learn in a textbook. This is something that you have to live day to day. I mean, Don, you've been doing this for years, and we need to continue supporting these programs and getting the word out there so that the people can get the right resources. What are some new current events? Because you've always stayed up with that. What are some other current events that are happening?
So as the world has gone virtual, as you know, I've been speaking at a number of conferences, and I have a few coming up this month, actually. I think 3 of them coming up. One is DataCon LA, which is a great conference in Los Angeles. That's being done on the 16th and 17th. I think it starts on the 15th, starts Friday night, and goes Saturday and Sunday. Another one is IIoT conference, the Industrial Internet of Things, and I don't have the date of that one. The other one is another edge security, and that one is out. And there's also a series of daily conferences called FutureCon, and they just had one in, I think, San Diego, but they're doing one in LA. But they were city to city, but now they're all virtual. And they're one-day events, and you go to futurecon.com, and it's a free sign-up. You can find that as well. I listened to one this week with Mark, AWS, the head of security for AWS, and it was a really, really useful conversation. The challenge with the virtual conferences, as you know, Kim, is you don't have that one-on-one, and that's why we need to get back into the physical connection again. There's a conference that's going to be in Phoenix in December, and he's going to do it outside. And that, I said, that's wonderful. He's going to do as much of it outside. I don't know if you went to the Industrial IoT conference was in San Diego, and they had it outside even before COVID because the weather was so nice that 75-80% of the conference, all the workshops, everything was done outside. The only thing inside was the keynote address because it was in the bigger venue. But and that's the way to do it these days is outside, because we know, inside is where all the problems happen. Yes.
Sergi, you got a question?
No, I have something to add that this month I was on a conference, and that was the first one and it's physical. And I think the people have hunger for being physical. And it was like, okay, everything was, all the regulation and all this stuff were perfect. But what I see, people really wanted to be physical.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right.
Yeah, there's something to be said. I mean, I don't want to say that virtual conferences are meaningless, because they're not. The content is still there and everything, but you're distracted. I know when I watch one, I have my radio on or my TV on. I'm doing email while I'm listening to the conference, and you're only getting a certain point. You're not getting the full content.
I'm guilty too. What about you, Sergi? How are you when you sit through a virtual?
Yeah, something I can make a parallel with the previous startup with the Sue about their mental health, because it is like a substitute of your friend. So I think all of us want physical friend. All of us want to share something physical. I mean, we were talking about mobile app where you can you can speak with like Alexa, and if you have some mental health, just
don't say that too loud.
I mean, this is the mobile app, but I think and even I'm the person with the AI stuff. I mean, with the artificial intelligence, and we know that we are humans. We like herbs. We like to be in a crowd. We like to share. We like to shake hands. Yeah, we like
absolutely.
Right? That's what our species is based on, is contact, and that's what we thrive on. If you really look at all the science or evolution, we're all about that, just the form of unity and contact. Mm-hmm. And we learn from that, right? But it's funny you would say Alexa or Siri, and I try to be careful because I used to wear my Siri watch, right? and she didn't like Alexa. And I was at a CES show one day. Serious. I am serious. I mean, she had an
They're
attitude.
like one another. Yeah.
No. And so we're talking about Alexa because we're at the CES, right? And Siri's like zapping my arm, right? And I go, what? And she pops up on my phone. I got a picture of it. Hey, this is Siri talking about Alexa and Siri. That's like comparing apples to not apples. And I go, Siri, and I had to turn her off. I was like, I cannot deal with an attitude mobile talking app. But and she's popped in a couple of other times and kind of scared me, like, because she was listening, right? And then she would engage in the conversation I was having. Oh, wait a minute, this is a little too much for me.
Exactly,
I helped build a lot of this, but it was to make quality of life, not replace people and not replace that emotional impacts that we need in life, but to give us time and better research and faster results, but definitely not to replace.
Can I change gears a little bit?
Yeah, let's shift gears.
Yeah, well, you just mentioned mobile, and it just brought to mind something you asked. One of the things that I see going on, what I'm working on now. There's an organization called the Secure Technology Alliance, which used to be the Smart Card Alliance, and they help define the education about putting the chip on the credit card, which we now all have and whatnot. So they're working on a mobile driver's license.
Oh, wow.
Okay? We are, you understand, I don't know, in California, we're putting a little golden bear on our driver's license, and now it's a real ID, right? Because it's a federal law. By next October, we all have to have a real ID in order to use our driver's license for federal facilities, planes, and things like that. And the United States, Sergey, I'm not sure where you're from, but in the U.S., we've always shied away from a national ID card, right? It's always been a no-no in the United States. We will never have a national ID card. It's a privacy issue. It's whatever it is. There's always a reason not to do it. And many countries have one, right? But our driver's license, putting it on our cell phone for authentication will become the de facto ID card. That will be used for, and there are pilots and rollouts that are happening now in many states. There are pilots in at least, I think, 24, 30 states, and rollouts in about 4 or 5 states of a mobile driver's license, not a picture of your license, but the actual document on your license where you can share as much information as you need to for that particular moment. And the standards are being written. There's an ISO standard 180-035, and AMVA, the American Association of Motor Vehicles, and the Secure Technology Alliance are all working on making things fit this standard. And there are companies such as Thales, IDEMIA, used to be Gemalto, and No ID. And there's a bunch of companies that are working on developing apps and doing this rollout. And this is going to become, in the next 2 to 3 years, it will be our license on a credit card. I mean, on our cell phone. And in Korea, it's all being done by the phone companies or the service providers. The mobile service providers are doing it. And in the US, it's all being done by authentication providers. And they're selling the apps, putting it onto the phone. So it's different. And in Europe, it's different as well, how it's being implemented. So
I wish we had our Europe entrepreneur on here. I know he would love to hear this. We'll have to bring him in, and maybe it would be really interesting to do a small community conference on IBMTV about all of this information, because this is something that the world doesn't really know that's happening. We know we read about it in science fiction books, and oh yeah, maybe, and you might hear about it, but this is true stuff that's going to impact our lives, how we go to work. And there's Keto.
Hi, Keto.
You're talking about cybersecurity. Do you know Don?
Hi.
You're not.
Oh.
Let's unmute. No, you need to unmute.
Sorry, can
Hey, do you know Don?
Yeah, I met last session, and he's very knowledgeable in the industry. So yeah, I'm excited to talk to him.
Yeah, we were just
Yeah.
talking about the driver's license becoming part of our virtual reality life. And then, do you know Sergi? Sergi is actually you probably don't. Sergi's new. He is in data science. He's with a company called Shop Up, SHOP Up.
Pop up.
Me, Shop Up, not me. It's all about data science, collecting data for your customer service databases and how to utilize artificial intelligence to improve the knowledge base that you're gathering. Keto is our fintech company that is with us almost every week. I think you're here.
I know.
Yeah, sharing the knowledge and wealth of information about fintech. And Don, one of the things that we've always tried to emphasize is the safety. And so that's the reason why I like it when the two of you are here together is the safety and security of such information, payments of all things, right? We don't want that to happen.
Right. Just to finish, so Keto didn't hear this, but I was talking about the MDL, the mobile driver's license, and the AMVA and ISO standard and the Secure Technology Alliance are developing a standard for the mobile driver's license where we will have our documents on our cell phone. And we will be able to share whatever information we want with the relying party in order to accomplish the task that we try to do. Say you're trying to go buy liquor. Well, it just has to show your age. It doesn't have to show everything else. Say you need to do something else. So the amount of information is controllable. And this will become useful in not only for payments, but for all sorts of identification. Once, if we can solve the sovereign identity issue, then it's a given, right? And that's always something we've been trying to solve is that sovereign identity. Who are you? Who you say you are.
Yeah, exactly, and I completely agree with that. If it's you're matching the ISO standard and PCI compliant and all these other the value check to store that sensitive information, that would be great product. And because as I said, everyone is moving into the e-com environment now, especially with your cell phone is the next point of sale system and PMS system, or your e-wallet, or your any information that you can pull it off from your phone. And that's where a lot of players are the industry who saves all this sensitive information. Because according to me, it's saving a card number on your the vault, basically a credit card vault on the payment industry, or you can save all this any other sensitive information like passports, or except the social security number that I'm very skeptical about it, that I don't want to save anywhere. But other than that, license and any tax documents or anything you can say. For example, I was looking at the TurboTax, right? That a lot of people are using TurboTax for the tax purposes, and people don't know, but they are storing so many information on the Intuit server, which is the the TurboTax belongs to. So there are a lot of sensitive information there, and I don't know if anybody measures that, if Intuit is compliant with all these the safety measures and all that. I'm not sure whether we did research on that, but indirectly a lot of people are seeing so many documents on that. So something like that in the mobile industry and all those e-com industries where you have to know where your data is storing. Then I don't mind it, but you have to know that it's storing in some secure place.
Not only that, you do your own due diligence. Go ahead, Sergi.
Yeah, something else. I mean, because you didn't know, but I mean, I'm dealing with data science and all this stuff. I mean, primarily data science and AI. And something normally which I don't like is the restriction. I mean, the more data, the merrier. But something which I see, and it comes to the privacy. And we need really to appreciate that. I mean, because some people probably will not give their consent. I mean, I remember in 2004, I think, at the Athens Olympics, they were in Greece, and they put a lot of cameras. There were thousands of cameras. and people start protesting because they don't want to be monitored. And I think they could, like, I mean, they destroy half of the cameras and then operating 1/10 or something like this. So it's a good example that people, I mean, also we know what is the situation in China. I mean, there is camera everywhere. They make computer vision, all this stuff. So, I mean, the future will show. I mean, about this digital driving license. I mean, probably it's the future, but still, we need to find a balance between where the privacy is and who is using what kind of data. Because as Ketu,
Yeah, Ketu.
yeah, sorry, Ketu mentioned that there is a lot of data. People are storing it, but without that need. So we need to find the balance. This is my feeling.
Meaning I see, like, a lot of values in like having the cameras and somebody's monitoring, because there are a lot of values behind it too. But the world is very very crucial or very weird. So a lot of people are using in a wrong way, and that is where again, like, for example, I saw the in China, right, all these cameras and all this like mobile apps are there, Alipay, WeChat Pay, so they basically monitor your move on every seconds. Like, you go to Starbucks, or you go to this coffee shop, or you rent a bike while going to work. They monitor everything. They have all sorts of data. Also, you can text to your friends through the same app, which app you can pay. So here is like for example, WhatsApp, right, that you are using for texting the people, but you're not paying through WhatsApp, right? Then you have to use some other wallet. But on the Alipay or WeChat Pay, like, you can use the same app for everything. You can communicate, you can pay, you can rent, you can do whatever you want to do, like all sorts of, and they are monitoring everything. But they give you a lot of flexibility and easiness as a customer, as a user, that let's say if I forget the wallet and I have to let my friend know that I'm stuck here without the wallet, right? Then you can use that app and they will give you a virtual card that you can pay on the rental bike or the cab or whatever. So it will be like a very easy access. Like, imagine now in the US, if you are stuck without the phone and the meaning, obviously, if you don't have that smartphone, or like, let's say you don't have a wallet on your phone, e-com wallet, and you stuck somewhere without the cash or without any cards, how are you going to do that? You have to call somebody. Probably they text you the card number, but you can't really use that card number unless you have a system which you can like that they accept your virtual card. But over there is. So I mean to say, like, there are a lot of advantages as well, having all this like advanced system and monitoring, but there are also a lot of disadvantages that if you don't know how they are using your data, then it's a problem.
One of the things I kind of like the idea of moving into a virtual mobile type identification card like the driver's license is just, why not can it carry over into our passport or ability to travel across borders? Not, if we unify all the databases the way that they should be, so that, law enforcement interfaces, interconnected to the world as well. And then now we have this identification basis, and you don't run into the situation or the story like with Travel with Brandon, which is one of our TV shows, by the way. So Travel with Brandon shares his story of when he lost his passport out of the country and the troubles that he had to go through, that you just don't go over to the embassy and go, "Hi, I lost my passport, print me another one." And then when they do print you an emergency one, it's not one that you can go to another border with. So So having a digital identification, virtual digital identification that probably interfaces with all of the international government agencies for identifications, that might resolve that problem of somebody getting their ID stolen or lost and they can't get anywhere. Because, I mean, I've been in a situation in another country and not have my passport at the time. And I got lucky. The guy just asked me where I was born, and he said nobody could pronounce that, let alone say it. So he believed me. But so the thing is though that all of this technology again brings us a better quality of life, a better understanding, monitoring of the situations. But I kind of like the idea of going into the digital world. The problem I have, bad side of it, is these things die.
Yeah.
Right? They die, or they break. And then when you break, you might not be able to transfer the information unless you had everything tied to the cloud, which, you know, you have to be careful if you're tying all that kind of information. But when you get this to where it's batteries not included, you know, like that movie, batteries not included, and we can evolve all of this technology without having to power it up all the time. I think that we have, you know, really got a great system to work with. We've got another friend who is beamed in with us. He's our sponsor for IBMTV. I don't know if any of you all know, but Lynn Shepard. Welcome, Lynn.
So where were you born?
Chattanooga.
Chattanooga?
Chattanooga.
Yeah. Up on the side of Signal Mountain.
Yeah.
Is that close to Atlanta, meaning Georgia?
Yeah, I mean, it's over the mountains and through the woods. To grandmother's house we go. But yeah, but definitely a unique place that not many people would even know how to spell or pronounce. But it's kind of interesting when we talk about, you know, the payments and security, you know, the data. All of this is our life now. This is how we evolved. And we're all online, and that's one of the things I like about Lynn Shepard is that he's got online shopping down to a science where it's affordable. It's the online dollar store. It's not cheap products. It's value products at a cost-effective means of shopping, because we like to say save your money so that you can invest, which, by the way, our investment show is at 1 o'clock this afternoon, Investing with Sasha. But one of the things that Lynn is doing that is just warming my heart this October as we get cold is he has extended their 100% donations to Money Masters for financial literacy programs. And one of the things that we're proud of, which I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but when Ankit and I started this IBM TV in March, we only had one show. We are up to 62 TV shows. And we are adding more financial literacy shows as we grow. Aside from the investment program that's on this afternoon with Sasha, we have a financial literacy program on Friday afternoons at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And those guys have decided they're going to go out and do more teaching type sessions. Economic Monday became a huge conversation piece. People were talking about it last night at a webinar, which was thrilling me to listen to this webinar of all of these tax experts who were actually on our Economic Monday show talking about all the tax policies and why there's such a difference. And I learned so much last night just going to the webinar, and we're trying to convince them to start bringing this. So all of this is just, you know, what I want to do is raising the bar to close the gap between poverty and sustainability. We don't want to lower the bar, you know, like everybody says, oh, you want to tax more than no, we don't want to lower any bars. We want to raise bars. We want to educate people, close that gap, make the world more sustainable. And Lynn is, you know, our sponsor to be able to do that. But part of all of that is protecting ourselves, which I love, is the cybersecurity expertise. We've got fintech and we got data science. Gosh, you can't get any better than that today. We also had a friend of mine, she keeps beaming in and out from Atlanta, who has a furniture store, who has just managed to continuously be successful in her business, even during COVID. She's what I call one of those women who just don't give up, right? She just gets out there and keeps, and she had COVID when I first met her online. She was recovering from COVID. So, you know, so many things that we have united and connected here on IBM TV. And Lynn, do you have anything special from the dollar store?
You know, it's funny. I haven't looked to see any of our new products today. I literally can't get off of Zoom calls, which is a problem. but we can take a look at it if you bring it up and just look at the new products. It's an online dollar store with over 4,300 items. I know Kettle's heard me before. I know Donald's heard me once, and I'm not sure whether Sergey has heard me before or not, but that's okay. But we keep adding because, our good friend Mark Lee keeps saying he's going to he's going to go through all the items, and we don't want him to get to the end. So we just have to keep adding a few extra items just to keep him from, look at this. Mark comes on. There he goes.
Mark has a question. Let's take a break for a second. Mark has a question here. What does Sergey like best about his home country of Bulgaria?
Yeah. I mean, it's a good question. I mean, because I have the opportunity and I travel a lot. So Bulgaria, what is Bulgaria for me? First of all, it's the place where I'm born, where all of my friends are there. But we have very good we have mountains where we can hike. We have sea, which is, I mean, the landscape is great. I mean, I'm skiing and snowboarding during the winter, then snorkeling and diving during the summer. So also the friends, and also I have exposure to such kind of knowledge around it. I mean, okay, I imported somehow. I made this data science society, so it's like I created an environment around me within the region in Balkans. I mean, the other countries, and I'm known about the data science advancement. Sometimes I travel, but I prefer to, and especially the world is becoming global, so it doesn't matter where you are. It's more important what's your interest and how you perceive them.
Wow, that's a great way to put it.
I want to move there because of mountains and waters and stuff. Because where I am right now, it's all about like politics, money, busy life, traffic. It's crazy.
There's something you said about stress, right? Money can't always buy you everything. Don lives in a beautiful location of the United States.
So I'm currently in Southern California, where the politics are crazy, but the land is beautiful. So we have ocean, we have mountains, and I'm really excited about this winter, Sergey. You appreciate this. My daughter has started working at a mountain high ski resort about 45 minutes from me in the mountains in Southern California. We only have 4 ski resorts in Southern California. And so she's working at one of them, running all the stores there. They have 3 locations. And she has got me a free pass for the whole winter. So I'm planning on skiing a lot. Yeah.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, which area?
Visit you, Don. That sounds like fun.
Which area, Don?
It's in Southern California, east of LA, in the San Bernardino Mountains.
Okay, all right.
Where there's a big fire that's burning right now. It's pretty contained, but it was a pretty big fire.
Yeah, I just got off of the phone with a lady in Santa Rosa, and she said this is the 3rd year out of 4 where they've been sitting there trying to figure out whether they were going to have to evacuate. So fortunately, she didn't have to.
For those of you that don't understand California, but we had in August we had lightning. And now I grew up on the East Coast, and as you know, Kim, when you have lightning and thunder, you usually have rain. Not in California. You have lightning, and it's a dry lightning. There is no rain associated with it. And so in August, we had lightning strikes, and it sparked 2,800 fires in the state. That's what the problem is.
Wow.
And then that on top of the fact that they have a lot of dead brush, and we had some areas had a beetle that killed a lot of the trees, so there were standing dead forests. And so there was just a lot of fuel. And couple with the fact that we've had late springs. So we're supposed to get our rain in December and January and February, but we had the rain in March and April. And by March and April, already the sun is high and things are growing. And so you get a little rain, and so now all the fields and everything grows, which adds more fuel to potential fires in the fall. So it's a confluence of things happening. Yeah.
It's almost a seasonal thing with you. I know a couple of
Oh,
firemen.
it absolutely is. It absolutely is seasonal.
And I mean, they actually they know their season, right?
Oh yeah.
And they actually plan their vacations, and most of them go on vacation right about the time of the Super Bowl. They're gone for a couple of months, and they refuel themselves. The thing I respect the most about the fire departments there in California is that these firemen, they work nonstop when these fires start. Like, they are on site, 6 to 8 weeks at one time. They don't get to see their homes. They literally go work the fires all day. They have their shifts. They go to a hotel room or wherever they're at, clean up, rest, and go back out, eat, clean up. I mean, this is their life. But they do it. They do it to save people. They do it to save lives. And the thing to do is just be smart, be respectful of them. Don't go out causing more fires like we have seen happen in the past, where some people are a little careless and they're not paying attention to what they're doing. Because as you just said, 2,800 sparks just from nature. I mean, that's phenomenal. Some of the things, I Lynn off for a second because there was some noise there. But some of the things that is great about with Lynn is that we can send essentials to people who need it quickly and affordable. And sending essentials in a box that you pay $25 for, you can ship for free. And something else, Dawn, if you're traveling and you don't want to carry all your essentials, do like I do sometimes. I'll pre-order my essentials and have them shipped to the hotel. I've even done some of my things that I need, like batteries, and because I need a lot of stuff sometimes when we travel, and I don't want to haul it on a suitcase sometimes. Sure. And so I'll do that. I'll just pre-order my essentials, have them waiting for me at the hotel. That way I didn't have to go through check-through or anything like that. And it's affordable at the dollar store online. It's just, and what I like about them is the more you spend, the more you earn. Right now in the month of October, another gift that he is giving, like I said, this just is a gift that keeps on giving. I'll let him share with you. Lynn, you want to share what you guys are doing?
Yeah, sorry about the noise. There's probably my wife has been, this is going into the 8th month where she's been working from home. So, and if you see, I'm in a balcony area looking down over a big great room, and she's down there surrounded by all of her plants and working, which is nice. But anyway, yes, so we're giving 100% of our profit to Money Masters through the end of the month. That's number one. Number two, we also have a gift token program, which is just like having gift cards. Okay. And when somebody signs up to be a customer, they will get $5 worth of gift tokens immediately. But through the end of October, anybody who signs up through IBMTV is going to get $10 worth of gift tokens. Now, you don't have to live in the United States to become a customer. However, we can't ship to you outside of the United States yet. So, Sergey, we're not able to ship to Bulgaria, but maybe that will happen. India's first in line, by the way, just so you know. And Kettle's heard that. And that's because of Ankit. We got that started with Ankit. And a few other people who watched us when we were talking about it said, geez, we'd like to have an online store here. But here's the thing about the people who are suffering around the country, and people like the people in the San Bernardino Mountains, which are on fire, or Napa Valley, or the Santa Cruz Mountains, those areas in California. And by the way, when you have the Santa Ana winds, that helps to spread the fires as well. But here's the thing. Most of the people who are out there trying to help the people in need are giving them food. What they don't think about is the fact that they need, as Kimberly said, essentials. Things like for kids, for babies, bottles, toys, things like that. So we have stuff from Johnson & Johnson. We have stuff from Fisher Price. We have toothbrushes, kids' toothbrushes, toothpaste. lots of things that people they need right now, and they're not getting. They may be getting food, but they're not getting the essentials they need. Soaps. Dove soap is interesting because I know that Dr. Yu, who comes on Fridays, hasn't been on for a while that I've seen him, but he once verified this, that Dove soap suds much faster than the other soaps do and much more efficiently. So it takes the surrounding off of the COVID virus, which helps to kill the virus. So I'm a big proponent of Dove soap, which I've loved for years anyway. Razors for people who don't want to have a beard 3 months from now. So at least you send them. Now, of course, I would have tried to grow a beard, except my wife would have thrown me out. So that's beside the point. But look at this. Look at all the things that you can get for kids to play with. Just tools for adults who may have lost all their tools and might need a screwdriver or a wrench or something like that. Cosmetics for women. We have, and masks. Now, everybody needs masks. So we have masks, okay? So we have the mask club. I know Kimberly belongs. And we have boxes of masks that we sell 50 masks for $25. And if you sign up as a customer and you sign up this month, it's only going to cost you $15. They get shipped for free. That's 30 cents a mask. So why not? We also have some lotions. We have some cleaning products. Some for women, some for men. We just, there's 4,300 products online. Face masks. Kimberly loves face masks. Not this kind of face mask, but the other kind that the ladies use. There's a product we have on here. If you notice, Kimberly's obviously used something like this over the years because she has no lines in her face, and the other four of us, we could care less because
I use Scotch Brite. I scratch it off now.
But anyway, we have a product that Amazon sells, identical product, identical quantity. Amazon sells it for $67 and shipping on top of that, and we sell it for $5.
That's right.
Yeah, $4.99.
It's $4.99. It's the Genesis product, which surprised me to see such a prominent product in the makeup industry. And they were carrying it. And again, like
there it is.
You'll pay $60 on Amazon for the exact same item that they're carrying. So you're not at the Family Dollar store. It's not the cheap items. They've got all of these quality items that definitely are bringing more affordable products to the home. Safer because you're not having to go out shopping for them, especially in this day and time. We just want to be cautious a little bit longer, right? We've kind of lasted this long. Let's hold tight a little bit longer. Make sure that COVID's under control, so that we can keep the spread down during the flu season, so that we can give the doctors a little bit of relief. Because we know flu season coming in, there's going to be over 300,000 fatalities. That's a standard. With COVID continuously, if it breaks out into a fire, like the fires in California, we won't be able to control it, and it will wear our medical industry down. So just wear the mask. There's sanitizer gel now that you guys carry.
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys carry toilet paper, which was something we had a problem.
We do.
So all of these things that you need, try to stay home. Order things that you need. Just stay home a little bit longer. Let's get this under control so we can go back out and have these conferences and get businesses back up and running, and go skiing. But you know what I like about skiing, though? You can pretty much stay 6 feet away from people.
That's right. You have to.
Well,
usually unless you're like me, boom, run into everybody. But skiing, ice skating, these are all what I call individual sports that you can pretty much distance yourself. Swimming, but yeah,
Hiking.
you agree?
Hiking, yeah, I agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I-
I last weekend I was in Shenandoah Park in Virginia,
Mm.
and it was so beautiful, that hike.
Wow.
Love, like, outdoor stuff now, especially during this time. Obviously, the COVID.
No crowds.
I'm up for skiing this winter now.
Yes, I think skiing's definitely going to bring us, a new venue of sports that we could start enjoying. Especially with maybe the Olympics, bring back some of the Olympics and things that we've missed out. This has been an interesting year, like the horse races that I dearly love. The Kentucky Derby had to be delayed. It did not look as much fun because there weren't really anybody in this game, just like football, right? I was watching, just briefly watching one of the Texas games, and it looks like the stands are full, but it's got posters. And this one had Matthew McConaughey in every poster.
So in Philadelphia, they have pictures of people pay for them, but the Phillies were so bad that the cardboard posters booed the Phillies.
There's a thing called there's a thing called sound effects, right? And this
Oh no, not you too.
I was going to say that. You watch the game, and I watched a couple football games over the weekend, and you hear the crowd, and then they pan back, and there's nobody in the stands. And they're just rotating the knobs and making the crowd's noise.
Yeah, they did that. They did that at the U.S. Open for the tennis. So, which was sort of eerie because there were a few people in the stands, obviously, that were there with the tennis players, but they did that, and they'll do that at the baseball games. So,
It reminds me, the old school, the French shows and all that, where you hear the audience noise, but you can't really see audience, at the back.
Yeah, that's all sound effects. One of the things I thought was kind of funny was it looked like somebody was playing from an old game, and they took a pan of an old game stadium, right? So that you had the new teams playing, and they panned they played an old stadium, and I thought that was kind of funny. I think people are just trying to be creative. I came up with some ideas to utilize VR so that people could buy their seats virtual reality, and you could watch your game with headsets from virtual reality. And so we're trying to engineer those ideas because that's an easy one to do because of 360 vision. And I think people who really like the game and love it, the only thing that you miss out on is the smell, right, of hot dogs and beer and sweat and but you can put the sound into what's going on in the crowd. But sitting next to that person, right, looking next to you, maybe if you have season passes, you get to see the same person, every once in a while. So there's just so much that
it's very interesting.
What?
It is very interesting concept. Yeah.
It is. I mean, I've only been to a few major league games. Like I've been to the Minnesota Vikings, and that was kind of fun. But baseball games, I kind of miss out on all of that, because it's just the environment, right? The energy, and everything. Is baseball? Are they even playing this year?
They're playing. They're in the playoffs now. The Dodgers are in the playoffs.
I have no time to watch. I've been too busy doing TV. I mean, with 62 new TV shows, and we're adding 3 new shows a week. I mean, it's to have gone from one show to 62 shows. I don't get a chance to know what's on anywhere else. So kind of exciting. Sasha's coming up here in a minute, and one of my favorite shows is they're all my favorite. I can't say one of my favorite shows, but a new one that just started is a young lady who has cerebral palsy. Her name is Wynn, and
Right.
she is just kicking it. And she has a podcast that she brought to IBMTV. And listen to this. Her goal was to get 60,000 downloads. She got it. Her new goal is 400 downloads a day. So my thing is watch this woman and learn from her. How is she doing this? And I'm going to play her intro real quick, just if you guys don't mind, because I'm real excited about what she's offering us. And, something else on Mondays, aside from Economic Mondays, we have Mark Lee's radio talk show. But we also have a new TV series called Lawyers Den. And you want to talk about something interesting is to watch a couple of lawyers talk about an issue. Without a judge. We're going to have to put a judge in there. But it's a lot of fun. And they don't really, they're very respectful, right? They don't talk over each other. It is, but it's interesting to hear, debates and also where they collaborate. It's fun to watch all of that transpire. And then, of course, we have Washington Reports, which is our daily political update, which is in 5 minutes. Thank you very much, Bill, for giving us. It's non-political, one side or the other information. It's just data about what's happening, and you make your choice of how you be your own commentator at that point. And I like that. That's what we're about here at IBM TV is the smart information. It's 1 o'clock, and I want to thank all of our guests for coming and being a part of this and sharing information about what's going on in the world, how we can better protect ourselves from Don Malloy in the cyber world, how we become smarter with data science from Sergi all the way from Bulgaria. Thank you.
Bulgaria.
I'm going to have it right next time. And of course, Lynn Shepard, our sponsor, all the way from Pennsylvania, and then Keto, our beloved fintech genius who keeps us up to date on how we can better improve our spending safety-wise in the fintech world. And thank you, everyone, for being a part of Startup Wednesdays. And we hope to see you next week. Don't forget to watch Podcaster Thursdays tomorrow. And we have Medical Friday, which is a boatload of medical doctors that come in and just share all of the wonderful information that we're getting from around the world, not just about COVID, but just other things that we need to be aware of. Spiritual Saturday. And I know I'm rattling on, but I can't seem to find our outro, so I'm going to use our standard one. And thank you for watching.